It would help if I unmuted my microphone. And let's see, bring in my bro here. Sith Lord. What's up, bro?
Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're at. What's going on, everybody? Great to see everyone in here.
Yeah, we got a nice little aggregation of people in the chat already. I see some weird dude named Sith Lord. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah,
Rose Allen, how you doing, darling? Jesse, what's up, bro? Anthony, Dark Gift Comics presents. Good to see you. James Clark.
Fuel the
Awesome.
hatred.
Well, Fuel the Hatred showed up. Awesome. What's up, Fuel the Hatred? And Jeffrey Nelson was in here earlier. I don't know if he's back yet or not, but Jeffrey Nelson was in here earlier and posted a comment a long time ago. But hey, boys, share it if you are on media.
What? Who?
What
What?
are you talking about, Jesse?
20 seconds.
No, I hate to hear wore out. Fuel. Happy Thursday, everybody, or as I like to call it, Sunday, because my schedule likes to be weird. So I kick back and drink Bloody Marys and talk about stuff today. Something I thought would be interesting to talk about. I hope everybody brought their tinfoil hats. I've lined my Kangol with tinfoil just to be safe. I figure we talk about some conspiracy theories. We can start out hitting the kind of high points of conspiracy theories and get some conversations going. And put it in your Discord. I don't know that I'm on your Discord, Jesse. Oh yeah, I shared the stream earlier. I need to. I'm glad Rosetta reminded me. I need to go back and say we're live. Thank you, Rosetta. I shared it a couple hours ago. I need to go back and say we're live. Just a moment, people.
Well, for everybody that knows, or some of you that don't know, dear Miss Mandy Summers is doing a little comic book called Wart the Wizard. And me and Han here are going to be one of the, I think, what was it, 5 or 6 people?
Yeah, there's 5 total, so it's going to be me, you, and 3 other people. I used to remember what one of the other people was going to be, and I forgot now what his name is. But there's 2 other people who I don't know. I'm sorry, I hit my mic. Who I don't know who they are. But I hadn't done it yet. Cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday for me, Thursday for everybody else, or Friday, whatever day it is. If you're across the pond, you're ahead of us. But oh, you shared it. I appreciate you doing that, Jesse. Brian the Observer, what's up, bro? Good to see you.
Yeah, what's going on, Brian? It's been a while.
Well, I hope everybody's doing good today. Today's I can't even talk.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I hadn't been up long enough, I guess. The Amazon ferry brought me another surprise this morning. Put on my speaker. Everybody will be pissed because I took it out of the box, but I don't give a fuck. Brought me a TARDIS.
Oh, it came today. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I put that on top of my other speaker. Big Steve, what's up, bro? I haven't seen you in forever, man.
Wow.
Oh yeah, day drinking's my favorite too. I love an excuse to drink during the day. I'm off on Thursdays and everybody else is at work.
Fatal, good to
Fatal,
see you, man.
hey, what's up, Fatal?
Steve, good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while. Hope everything's good.
Fatal, you better not be bootlegging my stream with your $4.99 DVDs. If you do, at least put my social media in the cover.
No. I'm on here. Probably get about $1. That don't even pay for the CD anymore. Well, yeah.
I kind of agree, Jesse. I'm not really a collector. I'm just buying the ones that I like. It just so happens I've bought several Funko Pops here lately, and I like the TARDIS, and I'd rather see the TARDIS sit out like that than to keep it in the box. And I also got you may have seen it on my social media. and I'm still conflicted as to whether I'm going to take this out of the box or not because it would be cool as hell out of the box. I got a gizmo. Well, if I can get it in the light.
Front and center that shit.
There we go.
There we go.
I got a gizmo in his little sports car that I'm still trying to decide if I want to take it out of the box or not. But I got it on sale, actually. Is that not the... Yeah, I guess that could be the difference. Aloha, Bianca. Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, Bianca. DJ, I didn't say hey. Jeffrey Nelson, good to see you.
I really do want to open it up, Jesse. I actually got it a really good deal. It was $30 normally, and it was marked down to $12. So I thought that was pretty good.
No, listen, dude, just go back to the mall and buy at least one more, and then open that one.
I need to buy the other 4 they had, honestly, because I was looking at Funko Pops, and like Amy Pond from Doctor Who was out 2 years ago in 2018, and it's already worth $100. So that was a Gizmo sports car was a special edition, so it may be worth something in a year or two. But I'm not really, like Jesse said, I'm a fan. I'm not really a collector. I don't really buy shit like that.
Yeah, me, I'm both. I'm a fan and a collector, and I showed you proof of that last night. You know, totes on totes of useless toys I'll never play with, just packed away in packaging. But you know, everybody has their own thing.
So everybody in the chat, do I sound pretty good? I upgraded my microphone yesterday and stepped up from the Snowball to the Yeti. So I don't know if it makes that big a difference or not, other than I got a bunch of buttons and shit to play with.
But some people like playing with buttons.
I do kind of like. I like it because it has a mute button on the microphone, and you don't have to go click around. Okay, sound good on your end. Yeah, I tried to play with the gain and stuff last night to trick because I'm not used to having to adjust like the gain and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jesse. It was a special edition only for Hot Topic, and I guess they're getting ready to discontinue them because they had 5 of them in the store and they were marked down from $30 to $12. So I should have bought all of them just because, but I didn't. I just bought one for myself from my office. But I still may take Gizmo out of the box. The good thing about those is you can put them back in the box. You know, put the box up and put them back in the box. It's not like once you open the box, it's ruined like an action figure or something. That's the only good thing about them, I guess.
And boxes are better than packaging anyway, because my main thing was action figures, and you know, they always came on the bubble, the blister. Yeah, they call the blister cards and stuff like that. Once you open them, you've destroyed the product. So, because a lot of people look for the packaging also.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know you have a lot of art supplies, Rosetta.
That don't count.
I don't. I guess technically there are people that collect art supplies, like special.
Why would you buy stuff like that if you're not going to use it?
To collect it.
Okay, I can think of better things to collect.
I don't have a better answer for you than that.
You never mind. I'm not going to go that route. I'm trying to be nice today, people. You know, if I'm trying not to say too much outlandish shit.
But you can look at your local locations. But if anybody's near Atlanta, there's a Hot Topic at I'm trying to think of the name of the mall now. I don't go there that often. Town Center Mall. There's a Hot Topic at Town Center Mall that 2 days ago had 4 more of those Gizmo sports cars left. So apparently they're getting ready to discontinue them. So if you have a mall with a Hot Topic around you and you think that would be cool, or you want to buy it and if it's on sale and see if it goes up in price or whatever, you may want to check that out. Because I said the store I was in only had 5 of them left in the store.
No, Rosetta, the best way to describe it, you're a hoarding collector.
A hoarding collector.
Oh, she's saying she's borderline in between the both, so you're just a hoarding collector.
Yeah. That's better than collecting hoarders, because that would be weird. She'd have people like chained up in her closet.
Well, this is Rosetta we're talking about.
True.
Love you, Rosetta.
Yeah. Love you, Rosetta, but that could go either way. So who's ready to talk about some conspiracy theories? That's just a general topic I figured I'd start with, and we'll see where it goes from there. Like all these shows, we may end up talking about dog food. There's no telling, but we kind of start and go off on a tangent. But
bro, you start talking about dog food. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
You gonna leave?
Yeah, I ain't talking about no dog. I don't know nothing about no dog food.
I'm making a stupid example.
I have a good time dealing with real food. You know, because I smoke a lot of weed. My brain's fried. You know, but that's good. You know, let's see where the conversation takes us. So what we starting off with?
Let's start off with I just pulled up a list of popular ones, Anthony. We're getting ready to start, and we're just going to kind of go down the list. And if anybody in the chat has their own input on it, I'd love to hear it. And if you have your own conspiracy theories, we're not talking about that. DJ has a theory. Are they flaming bags?
Dude, you got me confused with Kelso, man. Come on.
Well, let's start with one that I know a lot of people, especially if you've been on the internet, you've seen some of the different videos or so-called documentaries about it. The September 11th attacks were an inside job. That's a pretty popular conspiracy theory, and it relates to the whole towers coming down themselves, and it also relates to World Trade Center Tower 7 collapsing, when they're saying there should be no reason that any of those buildings actually collapsed. Right. So the theory is it was an inside job and I will agree with them. If you watch some of the footage, it does look like when the main towers came down, it does look like a controlled demolition. If you've ever seen them, you know, where they do the controlled demolition and drop like an old skyscraper, and you can see the boom, 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 and it starts to collapse. It did look like that. Are you? Hey, Will Gentry, good to see you, bro. Are you talking about Loose Change? That's one that a lot of people have seen. That little documentary. They did Loose Change. Then I think they've done a sequel since then. I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. That may have been where I watched it, or Amazon, or somewhere. But Class 5. So I don't know anything about building. Rambling Canuck, what's going on?
Wow. What's going on, Rambling?
Well, I saw you at DJ's last night, but before then I hadn't seen you in a while. Oh, okay. So that was the construction of the Twin Towers that was steel girders sprayed with concrete. Okay, so I don't know much about building or construction. Oh, okay, first resistance.
Yeah, I'm just a mod. I don't know shit.
I don't really have a set opinion one way or another on this theory. I kind of go both ways, and I've watched stuff that kind of makes me swing one way or the other. But oh, okay. So I never thought about that, Jesse. And if you watch some of the movies that are for it being an inside job, and then you watch some of them that are for it not being an inside job, then both of them have valid points. It was probably, I mean, I'm just guessing, it was probably 9/11 Loose Change. That's one of the more popular 9/11 inside job documentaries. And it doesn't help that the government has had previous history of doing so-called false flag operations, where they make something happen and blame it on somebody else to stir shit up, so to speak. I mean, so when you have that in your history, although it was not really anything as bad as what that would have been, but then 10 foot of steel can expand almost 9 inches in the heat while twisting down. Yeah, and yeah, Loose Change. It's actually a very convincing documentary, and Down goes Bill. Yeah, I kind of tend to believe it was not an inside job. If I had to lean more one way or the other, I tend to say it wasn't an inside job. Um, I don't know. It's just think of all the cogs in the wheel that would have to be involved to make that an inside job. And it's been all these years, and either A, they killed everybody involved, or B, somehow they kept everybody from talking. Because I mean, to pull all that shit off would take a bunch of people, especially to put the shit into to make the villain collapse afterwards, and it would take a lot of moving parts to make that happen. Not that I'm saying it they couldn't do that, but if that's not something that like one or two people could do, set the whole thing up. And either they rounded everybody up at the end and killed them or buried them in a pit somewhere, or yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do see a lot of things in history where the government has used people without their knowledge as test subjects. Like what was that? The Tuskegee syphilis experiment or something like that, where they used all those people to test the effects of syphilis. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that is a good point, Will Gentry. It could have somewhat been an inside job. They could have just set it in motion and made it to where it could happen, which technically it would still be an inside job. They just wouldn't actually have been the ones that did it.
Drew, what's going on, buddy? Good
What's
to
up,
see
Drew?
you.
Hope you're doing well.
No, I got my own little theory about all conspiracy theories, and I forgot it. Keep for real. It just entered my mind and said
the government wiped your brain because you had too much to tell everybody.
Living proof right here, ladies and gentlemen. I just forgot what the hell I was going to say.
So in the chat, we'll briefly take a poll and then we can move on to another one. But in the chat, what's everybody's feeling about it being an inside job or not being an inside job, the whole 9/11 attacks? I say I lean more towards it not being an inside job. But Will brought up a good point that it could have been, the plan could have been put in motion by somebody within our own government, and then they let the terrorists carry out the plan, so it would kind of be an inside job, but it's not like the government purposely, did all that shit just themselves.
Right. No, what I was thinking is, every theory that conspiracy theory that most people have or come up with or invent, whichever way you want to look at it, we are never at fault, ever.
Yeah.
Even if it's proven, well, we're still not at fault. There's always someone playing behind the scenes somewhere.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly.
That's that normally is where a lot of these things go.
I'm not a theorist, but come on. Some of the stuff that has happened in our past and that it's going to happen in our future, there's always one of us behind it, one way or another. And when I say us, I mean us as Americans, because we have our own shady dealings.
Yeah, and there's, what's the other saying? There's always at least a little bit of truth in every story.
Yeah.
So, if it's such a, now don't get me wrong, some of these conspiracy theories are just totally, in my opinion, batshit crazy, but a lot of the more not so crazy, like 9/11, there has to be at least a shed of truth probably in that theory. Every story they say has a little bit of truth in it. It's just figuring out what the truth is and how big the truth is, so to speak.
Well, Jesse, I kind of agree with you, but come on, man. act or no act, who the fuck waves at damn Stevie Wonder? Come on.
That was funny. I just heard that one recently, and that one is hilarious.
Yeah. I agree that the idiot act for George W. was, it was funny, almost embarrassingly funny. But still, who the fuck waves at Stevie Wonder, man? That's just, you can't act that shit out.
That's also an interesting theory.
Well, what yet? What, Stevie Wonder being blind?
No, the comment I just highlighted.
Oh, which one? I'm not looking. I'm sitting there.
Oh, could be Israel did 9/11 so they could get us in the Middle East. The only thing about that though is we were kind of already in the Middle East and we've already been allies for
Yeah, we were in the
Israel.
Middle East in the late '80s, early '90s, man. Because I was still in school when that shit happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the first Gulf War I was too.
Yeah.
So let's move on to. I think we've all somewhat agreed that it's either partly involved our government or it was totally not an inside job. I kind of lean to it. Could have at least been a little bit manipulated by our government, even if it was just letting things happen that they knew were going to happen. But we all have our own opinion. So let's see the next one on this list. The moon landings were faked. Theorists believe the U.S. government and NASA faked the moon landing on July 21st, 1969, in order to win the space race against the Soviet Union after the Russians had successfully launched the first man into space in 1961. It's claimed that Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin never set foot on the moon, and television images were filmed in a studio. Many advocates believe that all 6 manned moon landings from 69 to 72 were faked, and point to supposed mistakes in the official picture from the Apollo missions to back up their theories. Others claim the 1972 Apollo 17 mission was the last NASA moon mission because the crew made contact with aliens. So it's kind of a two-parter. One, that the moon landings were totally fake, that they quit. Other is they quit doing them after 72 because contact was made with aliens.
Yeah, they originally found the Transformers on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
I've only seen bits and pieces of that footage, so I really couldn't tell you either other way. Because as much as of a sci-fi person that I am, I've never watched the entire moon landing. From what I've seen, it looks real. So I haven't done no research or nothing on it because under normal circumstances, I just live under a rock. I take things at face value. I don't really look too much into anything, but because back then, even if they were faked, some of the shots were, I believe, impossible to duplicate because of the way of filmmaking technology was at the time. NASA went up in 61. We supposedly landed in 69. Movies wasn't that real back then. To me, it looked pretty real, but then again, I may be wrong. I'm a man. What do you guys want?
That's the only problem I think with that, Jesse, is if the Russians had finally managed to do it, the whole space race thing, that was the point, was beating the Russians. So I could see, like you're saying, instead of faking it, just say, oh, we don't have the technology to get there. But then if the Russians somehow got there, it would kind of put a black eye on our government, saying that there was no way to get up there. It would make us look bad, in the Cold War. I personally think the moon landings really happened. I don't think that was some big conspiracy. I mean,
well, okay, all right, I'll go with that, but let's add a little piece to that. All right. See, I try to look at logic in everything I see and read. I don't look at facts, hearsay. All right. If we landed in 69 on the moon, why the fuck ain't we been back? We got better technology It's the year 2020. Why haven't we been back? Or at least send at least one more, in all these years, at least one more manned mission to the moon. We're more than capable of doing it.
Well, they have talked in more recent years about doing another mission to the moon, but I think the supposed reasoning was, and I could be totally making this up. That kind of goes along with Fuel just said. Is there anything worth going back for? I think they eventually came to the conclusion they had basically done and experimented and done everything they could by going there, and there wasn't really anything else to be gained, by going back anymore. I think was the reason they used.
Yeah, but even not, I'm talking about even more than just a technological level. We could go back and do even more detailed analysis and studies. We've got ways to find particulates now that didn't exist back then, as far as we know. Yeah, it may be a big rock in space, but what is that rock made of? Is it something we could use as, say, fuel, building material, whatever? We don't really know. Yeah, Jesse, we can put a big freaking laser on the moon. That would work too. But it's just, why? We could have got. They could have went up there and back up there and did some forensic analysis. What was there, if anything at all.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That we have better technology now, but the only thing with that is they took a ton of samples from the moon, so we could even use that technology now to test, the samples that they've already got from the moon.
Right, but what if it was something that couldn't survive in the Earth's atmosphere?
That's true. Yeah. All right. Have a good day, Rosetta. Appreciate you coming by. Talk to you later, darling.
All right. Have a good one.
Plus, you can't get over the fact that there's a Nazi base on the dark side of the moon. If anybody's ever seen that movie,
no.
Steel Sky. Isn't that the name of it? Steel Sky.
Yeah. No. I believe there's Transformers back there. But that's just me.
Oh, that's awesome, Steve. Oh yeah, Iron Sky. That's what the name of it was. So I think we all are in agreement that the moon landings were not faked. This is another really popular one that you see a lot. The Roswell incident. I can't even fucking talk. The Roswell incident. There we go. Use my words. There are hundreds of conspiracy theories about aliens visiting the Earth. The most famous case is the so-called Roswell incident. In 1947, a flying saucer reportedly hurtled into the Roswell site in New Mexico, and the most famous alien legend of them all was born. Shortly after the military sensationally announced in a press release it had found the remains of a crashed flying saucer in the desert, but the following day it retracted the statement, saying it was in fact a damaged U.S. Air Force air balloon.
Have a good day, Steve, man. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you, bro. Big love, big up, big love to you, Big Steve. So I know this is one that everybody here has an opinion about. I'm pretty sure that we've all heard forever. That the Roswell incident, that it was either an alien landing and the government covered it up, or it wasn't an alien landing. And it was just a fucking weather balloon or something.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm actually paraphrasing here, taking this from an actual movie. Okay, I believe the majority believes it's some kind of hoax, but there are a lot of people that believe there's truly aliens stored away there, in cryogenic stasis or whatnot, to study upon, to learn from their technology, kind of like a Men in Black incident, but on a larger scale. But here's the thing: as big and as vast as space is, if we're the only planet in this large, humongous vastness of space that has intelligent life on it, wouldn't that be a waste of space?
Well, that's pretty depressing if you think about it, because that means we're floating around on this rock in space by ourselves with no other people or beings anywhere, any other life forms. I mean, it's. I mean, obviously, we don't even know the total expanse of the universes and all that stuff. So, I think it's a very big possibility that they may not be anywhere close to us, and it may be forever and not in our lifetime that we actually make contact with them. But
yeah,
as you said, there's hundreds of thousands of planets like Earth that could support life. So
right, yeah,
it's kind of a pompous thing to say, "Oh no, we're the only ones. We're special."
Yeah, Drew. Megadeth did make a song about it called Hangar 18, but back in the early to mid 80s, there was this low budget B-rate film called Hangar 18 that was about a similar story. Now, I don't know what came first, the song or the movie, but it pretty much lays out the entire theory. Yes, Area 51 is real. Yes, there is an alien craft there. Yes, they have alien beings there, but not the alien beings we've grown up to visualize, or what has been visualized for us without physical proof. Gray skin, big eyes. These were more. When I say humanoid, I don't mean 2 arms, 2 legs. I mean more humanoid, because you can tell there were people playing the part. And it was an okay movie, but it still just goes along with the popular theory, real or not real.
I tend on this one. I tend to agree with DJ Odyssey and Will. They kind of both have the same theory, because even in more modern times, everybody knows that the government tests secret projects out in the desert.
Yes,
whether it's Area 51 or Area whatever, there's several installations, in that area. So I mean, just think if like the original stealth bomber, when it come out, it basically looks like a winged flying saucer,
right,
or alien ship. So
right.
think of when they originally started testing that. If you just happen to see one flying around in the desert, it's not like any airplane you've ever seen.
Right.
So you're going to automatically think, what the fuck is that? That looks like a UFO. Mm-hmm. And the government lets the whole alien thing go as a cover up. And I agree with DJ and Will that I think a top secret project of some kind crashed in Roswell, and they used all that other stuff, as a cover up, because it was some kind of technology that they didn't want to get out, to the public or to other countries.
Well, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but why cover
have a good one, Field of Hatred. Sorry to interrupt you. Have a good one, Field of Hatred. Some rest. I'll see you next time, bro.
Yeah, man. Have a good one. No, I'm just thinking, okay, why cover something like that up with something even more possibly far-fetched?
Well,
back in 72, not in 72, my bad. In 1947, when the crash in Roswell happened, the only thing you had back then was great sci-fi novels from some great classic authors. Why cover it up with something unless somebody was just busy sitting around? Oh, la-di-da, la-di-da. Hey, aliens crashed. We can use that.
Well, I think they purposely, like I said, the government originally said aliens. Then the next day they retracted the story and said, oh, no, it was a weather balloon. I think they purposely put the alien thing out there because if you notice anything now you say is aliens, you automatically lose all credibility because they make you sound like you're a wacky dude. So that could have been the original point of the government saying that, was then everybody would latch on to aliens. And then, of course, everybody oh, you believe in aliens and UFOs, you're a fucking wackadoodle, you know.
Well, Jesse asked, what is the actual definition of plausible deniability? That's simple. Plausible deniability means we can lie to you and you'd never know it. They can make up whatever the hell we want, and we as a people are supposed to believe it. When in all actuality, I don't believe they all. Most of them know the real truth anyway, because it's all been diluted and handed down from office seat to office seat. You know, I look at it in a lot of ways. Now, I'm not trying to make anybody upset because I know I believe everybody has their own faith and their own beliefs. But going, I have this argument with my brother all the time, and we talk about the Bible a lot. And you can sit there and read the Bible word for word. Who's to say that from the original writings, if there were any original writings, hasn't been interpreted through the years, and each time gets a little bit more different. It loses its context in the interpretation. And just through the years, oh hey, aliens crashed in 47. Today is, oh, they're experimenting on some biological weapon. It's just depending on how the people interpret it as they feed it to us. You can go either way with it.
Yeah, Jesse makes a good point of just randomly throwing that out there because he was talking about plausible deniability. It's the ability of people, typically senior officials in a former or informal chain of command, to deny knowledge of or responsibility for any damnable actions committed by others in an organization hierarchy because of a lack of evidence that can confirm their participation, even if they were. So,
well, Jesse, we don't really know. We're not 2020 years old. It may be a historical document, but what I would love to see to back that is an actual historical document.
Yeah, that's the problem with like I said, I'm not trying to get into the religious debate either, but
no. I just had to use it as a reference.
Well, I know, and I agree with you that's the thing about the Bible, in my opinion, is it's a fact that it's been rewritten, or recopied throughout history. Well, it's like the telephone game. I tell you something, you tell by the time it gets through 10 or 20 people and they tell it to me, it's going to be something totally different than what I told you to start with, because everybody gets it explained different, or they add their own little spin on it, or whatever.
It's just everything's subject to interpretation because and the way the knowledge is passed on with any subject. I could tell you after a while, Han, that guess what, man, I just won the lottery, man. I won $100,000. But then somewhere along the line, man, you hear Sith won the lottery, man? I think he got like $100 million. It's just how the information is passed on. You can't really trust much of what people say. I'm not the researcher, never have been, but if you want to find the truth, research it. Find your own answers. That's just me,
And like we said, with every story, there has to be at least a bit of truth in there. So,
well, yeah.
The thing is weeding through to pick out the truth. Yeah, like I'm saying, I'm not saying none of that stuff happened or existed, because, as Jesse was pointing out, there are places in the world that cross-reference with things in the Bible that you can still see or find today. So parts of that at least was somewhat true. If it happened the way they say it did, exactly, that's another story. But I never thought of that. That's actually a pretty good outlook on it. I've never thought about that.
What Will said?
No, what Jesse said. Historically, the Bible is like an old worn map.
Yeah, true. But Will says, if you're talking the Bible, those stories weren't even written down until about 40 years after Jesus died. So the earliest version of them are already decades of oral retells old. So,
Steve, not to interrupt you. Steve, what's up, bro? I hope you're well. Hope you're well today, Steve. I'm well. Seth, are you well?
As well as I can be.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Oh, my camera went unfocused. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say, as well as you can be. No, Stig's always good for a funny quip. The Norse god has a hammer. Jesus got nailed to a cross. Do the math on who wins. Oh yeah, but yeah, it does. That background does kind of look like a barn. I have another background that's the same as the one I'm using on my green screen, but I don't really want to use the same background I'm using on my green screen. That would be kind of odd.
Yep. Leave it to Stig, man. Never a dull moment.
That is a good point, Will. Yeah, that's true. Ancient stories don't necessarily even need a kernel of truth because there's no way anybody can fact check them unless you can somehow find like archaeological evidence or something like that. That would be about the only way to fact check something that's ancient like that.
Or you run into Doc Brown.
Well, yeah, or the doctor.
Yeah.
I think we kind of got off topic a little bit, but I think the consensus on Roswell, from what I've seen, is it wasn't necessarily aliens. It was probably more than likely the government covering up some kind of technology that crashed that they didn't want anybody to know about.
So we head next. The infamous Illuminati.
Hey, Melissa Hans, glad you could join us.
Well, hi there.
That may or may not be my wife, which now doxes my last name, but that's okay.
It's all good.
Oh, this is one I'm sure everybody will find popular. And cheers to my lovely wife who's at work while I'm sitting at home drinking Bloody Marys.
Yeah, she's at work watching YouTube.
I'm at work. I'm at work. I'm at work on YouTube, even though I don't get paid for it. I'm sure this is one that'll be that's part of where my screen. I about said my stage name. My screen name comes from is my last name.
That's awesome.
There's actually a whole story to it that I'm not going to get into right now, but
you see Stig, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling you that because that's just funny.
The next one is Sith was just talking about it. I'm sure everybody in the chat, especially Brian, not just to single you out, Brian, but I'm sure you have your own very. I can't even think to what I'm trying to say. I'm sure you have a opinion on this. I can't figure out the words that are coming out of my mouth. The Illuminati control the world. We've all heard this. So I'm not even going to read what they say about it, but the Illuminati control the world. We've all heard this, and obviously there's an entity of people, like a secret underground group of people that control everything in the world, and they're the ones that turn the knobs and pull the levers. And it looks like our governments are in control in all these countries, and in reality, it's one body of people that are controlling everything that go on in the world. So it's interesting to see what Brian's going to say, because I know Brian's going to have a very good opinion on this. Both literally and figuratively.
There's no doubt. There's no doubting that fact. Anybody with money and power combined controls the stakes in the game.
Well, I think Jesse was saying earlier, on a smaller scale, What was it you were saying, Jesse? That was it the Skull and Bones Society that all these presidents and everything have been a part of? That's like at that college that pretty much like every member of it pretty much has ended up being like a super powerful person in like politics or in government. It's like the Skull and Bones or something like that.
Gaming or what?
Hey, gaming or what? Good to see you.
Yeah, you control the world. Help a brother out, man.
Okay, yeah, it's at Yale. But yeah, it's whether that's a conspiracy thing or an inside thing or not, it's awful funny that all these big and powerful political people and world people have just so happened to be a part of that society. As Jesse said, it's a grooming station.
Yep, kind of like something like the forefathers or the of course the more famous name, the Illuminati or the founders or something like that. There's always been something like that behind the scenes going on. And believe it or not, we can tie these two together in some aspect. The Illuminati and Area 51. They had the power, they had the resources of the time to be able to control the situation.
So yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement on this. It's not that it's necessarily the huge underlying conspiracy that a lot of people think it is like the New World Order, but that obviously people in power and very rich and very powerful people pull strings behind the scenes. The man behind the curtain, like we've already talked about before, they control way more of stuff behind the scenes than what we know they do or want to know they do. Now, whether the ultimate goal is a new world order, one government, or whatever, then that remains to be seen. But oh yeah, that's a whole other conspiracy. You start talking about the Freemasons.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of powerful people have also been Freemasons. Oh yeah, Bohemian Grove. That's a good thing, Will. Yeah, the name is kind of a distraction. Yeah, there's a handful of unelected people that control almost everything that happens. Yeah, I think the whole it's kind of like talking about aliens. If you talk about the Illuminati, people automatically say you're a wackadoodle. So they like people to call it the Illuminati and talk about the Illuminati because there's a lot of people, as soon as you say the Illuminati, they're going to say, oh, you're just a crazy ass. We're not going to listen to what you say.
That's quite possibly true, Drew. Seriously. But who's to say that with the Illuminati, who's to say that our political government aren't just basically the centerpieces to it? In other words, all right, we're going to get it to where you're placed here, but then you have to do what we say. You have to make the decisions we choose. It's it's a distinct possibility.
So I think we all kind of came to sort of a consensus on that it's not necessarily the Illuminati, so to speak, that people like to say, but there's definitely higher people, whether they're in government or not in government, even if they're just rich, powerful people that pull the strings behind the scenes and do control aspects of the way things happen. All right, DJ, have a good show, man. Have a good radio show. Appreciate you stopping by again.
All right, man. Don't work too hard. Play something with balls, Elvis.
So let's go on to the next one. This is one I don't know that we'll talk about for very long because this is the I don't see how anybody could, and I apologize if you're in the chat and this is something that you agree with, but the flat Earth theory. The theory that people believe the Earth is actually flat, and that the government and everybody's hiding from you for some reason the fact that the Earth is flat. I personally say that's bullshit. It goes along with faking stuff. They try to say, "Oh, like the pictures from space," and I'm sorry, gaming or what. I apologize. I'm not trying to upset anybody that believes some of these things, but or you're being funny and pulling my chain. But either way.
Well, right now as it stands, I've read through this a little bit, and I know it was. I think Jesse, this might even have been a rather recent topic on Creepy Little Book, but I agree with Drew. Flat Earth is just stupid.
Well, it goes back to like we were talking about the moon landings. They say, "Oh, well, every picture from space, everything like that is faked."
Yeah,
that goes back to faking the moon landings. Think of how many people it takes to keep that going, and sooner or later, somebody or a group of people would come out with evidence that all that shit was faked.
Well, I don't know how much of it is faked, but this is coming from personal experience. Back when I was a kid, 18, 19 years old, I worked on a tugboat as a deckhand, and I live here in Florida, and probably about 2.5 hours from Cape Canaveral. So I used to work for this company that had a contract with NASA, and our job was pulling a NASA barge in. Now, on this barge was the bright orange fuel cell that everybody sees when the space shuttle goes up. Now, during one of our trips, we actually got locked into Cape Canaveral because the shuttle was about to go up. Now, I've seen the shuttle go up within however far from the countdown clock to the launching pad within the Space Center. It is an unbelievable experience. I've seen the shuttle go up. I've seen the rocket boosters jettison. You can't fake that. And when they get up there, what are they doing? Playing with each other? You can't fake that stuff. So, and with communications the way it is nowadays, you can see whatever you want. And with technology the way it is now, and beautiful high def glory, so it's.
I don't know. Will's comment to me is funny. If anybody that's ever owned cats, if the Earth was flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge by now. Yeah, cats love to knock shit off the edge of tables and desks, shelves, just to be assholes.
Across the sun of the Earth is the same temperature as the surface of the sun. Facts. Yeah. The Earth is the middle of the Earth is a big old heaping molting mess.
I've never seen a launch from that close. Like I said, my grandparents, when I was growing up, my grandparents lived in Central Florida, and I've seen them, from a distance. I've never seen them, obviously, as close up as you have, but
well, it's definitely an adventure you'll never forget.
Yeah.
It was glorious. It was beautiful. It was, if you like bass music, if you like, hard hitting bass in your music, this does not compare to anything you've ever experienced.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that, Jesse. I wouldn't necessarily believe in hollow earth. I do believe in hollow crust because obviously, there's cave systems that the whole thing has never been explored. So you don't really know how far and how deep the cave system goes. And who's to say if we evolved on the surface, how did some people or things not end up deep in the Earth's crust and have evolved, down there that we just don't know about yet. Oh yeah, night launches are cool. So I think most of us don't agree with the flat Earth. Gaming or what does, and you're welcome to have your opinion. Listen, this is just talking about stuff between us. It's not about saying one person's right or wrong. This is just having a discussion. The next one, Planet X, or Nibiru in the end of the world. Nibiru is another name for Planet X, which is said will destroy all civilization. There are a few variations to the theory, but all claim that the menacing planet is bearing down on our solar system. Some think it'll crash directly into Earth, shattering our planet into a cloud of dust. Others claim it will scrape past us, but its size will drag Earth off its axis, triggering chaos.
Well, if such a thing ever happens, if this in any way, shape, or form is true, I promise you, it'll never happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, and it's again like us saying that we're the only beings or life forms in all the universe is kind of elitist to say. I think even if it's not Planet X, and I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime, but I mean, that's what they say happened to the dinosaurs is a big asteroid or meteor, hit Earth and screwed everything up. So I think sooner or later, there's all kinds of stuff floating around in space. Sooner or later, something's going to hit Earth again. A large, asteroid or something. It may not be a whole mysterious planet that does it, but I mean, just the law of probability, all this shit floating around us, eventually something's going to hit Earth again.
Brian.
Planet X, Cybertron.
Hey, I'd buy that for $1.
It could be.
But yeah, none anything crashing into the Earth, because even with the monitoring equipment we've got, even the infamous telescope, and I know even with that, you've got to be looking in the right direction at the right time. We can pretty much tell if something's coming, and ain't nothing out there yet. Maybe meteorites, some meteors.
What's your gamer tag, Seth? Gaming or what? Talking about adding you.
Oh, don't hate everybody.
It's about mathematical probabilities. A high probability that another sentient life form exists somewhere else in the universe. However, there's a low probability that something will hit us. Okay, that's an interesting theory. The only thing that worries me about that, as you were saying, Seth, is we have all this technology, but still, if you're not looking in the right area, because there's been stories, I mean, just in recent years that like large asteroids have come, what are relatively, as far as the size of space, have come relatively close to the Earth, and they didn't even realize they were there till like the last minute.
Right. not quite, Drew.
That's what he does when he's not on YouTube. He's on the street corner spitting sick bars.
Damn right.
Contest.
Hey man, got to earn my living somehow. I can't sit on YouTube every night, all night.
He's a battle rapper. Here's one that'll be interesting to the music fans. That I don't know that I've ever heard this one, and I'm not necessarily a big Beatles fan or Paul McCartney fan.
But oh yeah,
Paul McCartney was killed and replaced with a lookalike. Legend has it that Beatles star Paul McCartney was killed in a car accident in 1966. His record label feared the end of the cash cow that was the biggest band in UK history, so they covered it up and he was replaced with a lookalike. The rest of the group are said to have struggled with the deal with the new, quote, Paul, nicknamed Fall for fake Paul by theorists. In memory of their late bandmate, they left subtle clues in their artwork and music to let fans know that Paul was dead. This includes their Abbey Road cover, which is considered a subtle hint of a funeral procession.
Mm-hmm.
John Lennon is said to represent the priest because he's in all white. Ringo Starr is a pallbearer because he's in a suit. And George Harrison acts as a gravedigger because he's in denim. Paul's bare feet are said to be a sign he is no longer alive. So I'll leave that to the music people because, like I said, I'm not a big music person. So, I mean, obviously, I've heard of the Beatles and first I heard some of their music, but
yeah, Anthony, that's your cue, man.
Yeah, Anthony, if you're still here, that's your cue. Or anybody that's a music fan or has an opinion on music.
A music fan, a Beatles fan, a McCartney fan.
Yeah, did Paul McCartney die in a car accident in 1966, and was he replaced with a lookalike? That's an interesting one, Brian.
Yeah.
He didn't die, he just retired. And they dropped clues to sell more records because they weren't sure if people would dig their new stuff.
Yeah, Anthony just chimed in. He goes, "No, that's BS."
That's honestly, it's like I said. I just pulled. Well, I sent it to Seth. I just pulled up an article that was like the most famous conspiracy theories to give us something to go off of, and that's honestly one I've never heard before.
I've heard it several times. I watched this channel here on YouTube, is Top 10 Beyond the Screen, and they've mentioned this one in particular several times. I've heard about it, but I think just like everything else is just bullshit. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Paul McCartney's still alive.
Okay.
But that can go hand in hand with our next topic. Elvis, Jim Morrison, Tupac, and a host of other celebrities that are still alive. Both of those right there could go hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of the same. They're kind of the same topic, really, if you think about it. I mean, the only difference would be Paul McCartney supposedly didn't die, and they supposedly did die, but they didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be the only difference, really. Sorry, I'm refilling my ice in my cup.
Mm-hmm. I think it's BS. We don't live forever. There's no damn way physically that we can live forever. So, these guys are dead. Okay, either by natural means or their own means, they're dead.
Oh, that's a good one, Rambling Canuck. I actually was watching a little bit of a video the other day about that. Yeah, that the Olympic was really the one that sank. It wasn't really the Titanic. They had swapped the ships.
I've never heard that. That would have been a great cover up,
We'll do it on the fly. Let me pull something up real quick.
Bucket, we're doing it live. All right.
There's actually multiple Titanic conspiracies.
All right, Jeffrey, man, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by.
Good to see you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you coming by as always, man. Good to see you. If you're around, join me again next Thursday. I said I'm for right now. I'm going to do this every Thursday. Drew, you also have a good day.
All right, bro. Yeah, man. We'll talk at you soon. Take care of yourself. And everybody in the chat, if you don't mind, either way you want to look at it, hit one of them thumbs up, preferably the thumbs up. If you don't like it, you can hit thumbs down. It don't matter. It helps with everything else. Um, we're just having a friendly chat about, popular theories we don't neither believe in or deny in. It's all open to interpretation. Yeah.
And I don't think there's really anybody new that I've seen today. So you're all hopefully already subscribed to me. But you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HonstarYT. Shameless plug. Let me pull up this.
You shameless? Never.
Let me pull up this. Over the years, people have spoken about the Titanic and learned how it sunk on the dreadful night in April 1912. However, some people are led to believe it was in fact its sister ship, the Olympic, that sunk as part of an insurance scam. The reason behind people thinking that the ship was not really Titanic takes us back to the 20th of September 1911, when the Olympic collided with the HMS Hawk just off the coast of the Isle of Wight. The incident caused many problems for the ship's owners, the White Star Line, as this meant it would have to be taken out of service while they repaired it. This also meant that the maiden voyage of Titanic had to be put back from the 20th of March to the 10th of April. That at this time was something that the White Star Line could not afford to do, as they had legal bills to pay and the cost of repairing the Olympic as well. This meant they had to come up with a way to claim back not only the money that they would have missed out on due to the Olympic not being in service, but also the money they couldn't claim back from the incidents. So they came up with a plan. The plan was simple: switch Olympic with her sister ship Titanic and sink it to claim compensation. No one would know they had swapped the ships except for the people in charge. J. Bruce Ismay, Lord Pierre, I'm probably hacking these names up, Lord Pieri, Thomas Andrews, and J.P. Morgan. As if you looked at the ships, they were sitting beside each other. You would not know which one was which unless you looked at the nameplates on the ships. As the plan was set in motion, they went about changing the Olympic to look exactly like its sister ship by covering the floors with carpet, as the Olympic had tile flooring. And the passengers and crew who had been on the Olympic, then Titanic, would have been able to see the footprints left by previous passengers. If they didn't do this job, people would have wondered why this brand new ship that no one has been on was covered in footprints and stains from spilled drinks. Other parts of the ship would have been changed as well. For example, taking out cabins on B deck from the actual Titanic and replace them with Olympics promenade to make the switch all that more believable. Let's see. This is not the only piece of evidence that can be gathered to help back up this theory. There are also people who had built the Titanic back in the shipyard, Harland and Wolff in Belfast, that over the years have come out and said that the two ships were in fact swapped. And if they told anyone, the White Star Line told them it would basically be the last job they ever did. So obviously they kept quiet because they didn't want, because the families of the people who built the ships knew about the scam. And they didn't want to lose their jobs. Let's see what else. J.P. Morgan was amongst many people who canceled their trip at the last minute as he was of ill health, when in actual fact he had been spotted in France 2 days later and appeared to be in perfect health. J. Bruce Ismay's wife Julie and their children also canceled due to his wife's ill health before, however, they were spotted on a motoring holiday in Wales. J.P. Morgan also had 7 valuable bronze statues removed 1 hour before the ship left Southampton. This situation led many people to believe that they both knew what was about to happen with the ship on its maiden voyage, specifically after J.P. Morgan had publicly spoke out to the country and certified that he would definitely be aboard the ship. Was the real reason behind his lie from J.P. Morgan due to the fact he knew the ship was going to sink? That's a very interesting. So I mean, part of the theory is basically it was an insurance scam.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Brian the Gravedigger, what's up, bro? Good to see you, Brian. We're just talking basic conspiracy theories and things today.
Or whatever. That's what we're starting off with anyway.
So I mean, I could see that. I could see as long as it. Well, I mean, it goes. That still goes to be another one of those things that there would be so many people involved. I mean, I know they're saying, well, they threaten the shipyard workers that if they didn't keep quiet, that they would lose their jobs. But I mean, eventually, I'm on my third Bloody Mary right now, Brian. I just now poured it, so technically I've had two. I just poured my third one. That kind of goes back to so many people being involved. It would be hard to keep it covered up as long as is that long. You know, if they were doing stuff like switching out cabins and interior from one ship to the other, I mean, obviously workers had to do that. So, Dot Connector, good to see you, Dot Connector. I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome. If this is your first time here, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, please. We do these streams every Thursday, and today we're talking about conspiracy theories. We just kind of talk about general things. Go, good to see you. Welcome, Dot Connector. Now, I could get behind the fact that certain people in charge, like J.P. Morgan and the upper echelon of the money involved around those companies and the ships, could have possibly known that Titanic was going to sink. You know, and then again, it would still be an insurance scam, basically. You know, that they let it happen on purpose because they had lost money, you know, on the Olympic, having the accident and having to be in dry dock and be repaired. They lost the revenue from that. It pushed back the launching of the Titanic. So I could see where they could make something like that happen to gain back some of the money they had lost by, you know, basically getting a claim, insurance scam, basically, by sinking the Titanic. That's kind of a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, Brian. Well, there can be two of you because the names are spelled different. Bryan and Brion. This isn't the Highlander. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you work at a shipyard and your ships that you build there are sinking, then people probably aren't going to keep wanting to use that shipyard. But that was a good rabbit hole to go down, though. I have heard that theory, and like I said, I've seen some videos and stuff about it here recently that the Olympic and the Titanic were swapped out, and it is an interesting theory. And I tend to leans. I can't talk. I tend to lean towards the fact that they could have purposely sank the actual Titanic because they were really losing money and were short on money. So I don't necessarily believe they swapped all kinds of stuff from the Titanic to the Olympic and then sank the Olympic. I think they could have sank the Titanic on purpose or knew it was going to happen. And basically it was an insurance scam. And all the people on board were just unfortunate, you know, pawns in the game, so to speak. Or it was all just a tragic accident and they hit a fucking iceberg on accident and, you know, it was horrible. But I could see that theory, and I could see the moving parts of that theory as being true. But I lean more towards they knew the Titanic was going to sink, and they did it for money reasons.
Well, you know, to me, an insurance scam sounds a lot more plausible than an iceberg. But I'm not saying there's not icebergs out there, but you know, an insurance scam sounds like it would be the more popular of the two.
Well, and if you take into account the other facts from the story that the Olympic had an accident and had to be repaired. Well, the Olympic being repaired, obviously it was not making revenue while it was in dry dock being repaired. And in the meantime, it meant they couldn't launch Titanic on schedule, so there's more revenue lost. So they're bleeding money.
Well, as far as cruise liners, I guess the ships were made here in the States.
No, they were made in Ireland.
Hmm.
I think it's Belfast, Ireland.
Well, even if they were sister ships, the Titanic and the Olympic were two of the largest cruise ships, even to this day, because you don't see many cruise ships that are that size, if any at all. I may be wrong. I may be wrong.
There are a couple recently that the cruise, the modern cruise lines have built that are the biggest cruise ships ever in history. And I forget the names of them, but
Hugs, Maura.
Meow, hugs, meow.
How about a purr? Could you give us a purr? Purr, little kitty. Anyway, I'm getting weird now.
I'm sorry if y'all hear my garage door opener under me, but yeah, the Pride of Belfast. Yeah, they were built in Belfast, Ireland. They were built.
They were very big ships. It took a lot of money to build them.
Oh yeah.
So
that was a lot of money to outlay to start with.
Yep. So, because they cost so much. Yeah, an insurance scam sounds like that would be the more popular of between that or an iceberg, or if it was even the Titanic itself that sunk. That makes sense to me. Because like I said before, I try to be logical about some things, and to me that would be the most logical route to go because of how much one of those ships costs.
Well, and I'm sure they were very, very well insured. You know what I mean? But even between the cost of building them compared to the cost of the insurance on them, obviously I don't have the numbers on that, but I'm sure that, these are rich and powerful people building these ships. So I'm sure that they were very, very, very well insured to a point where the cost of building the ship would have been covered plus a lot more on top of that. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, wow. Where'd my picture go?
Did you turn? Yeah, I don't know.
I reset my stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta add your avatar back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Britannic. Yeah, all three of them sank. Right, Rambling Canuck. I know the Olympic and the Titanic did. The Britannic sank too, didn't it? One of them was torpedoed, like in World War II or World War I, one or the other. It was used as like a hospital ship and got torpedoed.
What?
Yeah, we were talking about that just before you got here, more that J.P. Morgan was supposed to go and then claimed he was sick, and then like a day or two after he claimed he was sick, he was seen in Paris and there was nothing wrong with him. Yeah, and they also said that part of it was J.P. Morgan getting rid of people that like you said, Federal Reserve people were on the ship. J.P. Morgan was trying to get rid of some of his adversaries, so to speak, or some of his competition. So, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so it was the Britannic that was either hit a mine or was torpedoed. Yeah, and if I remember right, it was being used as a hospital ship when it sank. Right. Well, it depends on how sick he was or what kind of illness was.
Yeah, nobody stated it was a life-threatening illness. I don't believe, anyway.
I think the point of this story is if you ever see something called the White Star Lines, don't get a ticket for it.
Well,
because all three of those sister ships sank.
I love boats. I love the water. But I may even take a cruise one day. But I'll be damned if I'm going to try to take a boat to the other side of the fucking world. It's called a plane for a reason. You can get there a lot faster, and most of the time a lot more comfortable than the ups and downs and the ups and downs. Ladies and gentlemen, seasickness is a real thing.
Mora makes a good point. Moral of the story: if you end up on a cruise ship, make sure there's enough lifeboats. I don't think I've heard that one, Brian. Like I said, we're going live and just shooting off the cuff too. If y'all bring something up, so let me Google that real quick and see what I can pull up. Have you heard anything, Seth, about the military having starships?
No, but that would be absolutely fucking cool to me. I don't care who has them. Starships? Yeah, those would be cool.
You just want it to be an X-wing.
No. No, I've got a my own little thing in mind. I've always been fond of they appeared for the first time in Return of the Jedi back in 1983. They're called a TIE Interceptor. They had the bent wing design like Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and they had quad cannons on the tips of the wings. I love those. I just think they're a beautiful ship. X-wings are cool, but you know me. Look at the picture. Look at the name. I kind of tend to go to the dark side. So it's all good. We can go on now. I got my nerdiness out.
Oh, I'm still looking at what Brian was talking about.
But anyway, I'm gonna step off while you're looking that up. I want to screen share something real quick.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier in the stream that Miss Mandy Summers has got a book coming out called Wart the Wizard, and she had some tiers in there to have your characters drawn in. And there were 5 people, 5 spots that's going to be drawn in to Wart the Wizard, and I got some of my preliminary artwork early this morning, and I'm gonna show this off real quick while you're looking that up, Han, if you don't mind.
Yeah, throw it up and I'll screen share.
I'm going to be a toy dealer in the comic book. You got that up there yet?
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be a toy collector. I'm in a toy seller. The little blonde. This is my granddaughter. Mandy was nice enough to add a second character in on my behalf, and she's my little helper. You know, and Han's going to be drawn in also.
I actually have my color sketch too.
Well, I know I saw the preliminary. I didn't know you got a colored version of it.
Well, she just sent it to me last night, actually. Brian, I hit you with the wrench of God. So if you want to link the story you're talking about, honestly I can't find anything about it. So I tried to Google and find. Actually, I couldn't even find on your channel what you're talking about, honestly. So if I gave you the wrench, so if you want to go on and link it, then
you know what? You know, and y'all think it's a joke, man. When somebody gets a wrench, you know, if the channel owner really wants to give you a wrench, by God, they're gonna fucking do it. Okay. You know, I got sent this to me. I got a wrench. I'm just gonna paint it blue.
Well, it was easier to give him a wrench than try to figure out what he was talking about, because I did try to Google it and look at his channel and I couldn't. So, yeah, I got my colored. I have my colored sketch as well, and mine also has another character in it. So there's me.
Actually, he threw it up. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a barkeep at a tavern.
That's cool.
And the cat on the bar is my cat that I had for 17 years that passed away, named Tattoo. So Tattoo's always going to be with me at the bar as my bar cat.
That's awesome, dude. That looks real good. I like the way that looks.
That's my barkeep character, and I think she's gonna maybe take away the white on the feet. She was asking what the color of my cat was, and I was like, "Oh, it's solid black." So she may go back and take the white off the feet because my cat was just a solid black cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me and Tattoo.
Now,
Tattoo, our cat.
if you want that link that Brian threw up in the chat, if you think you can pull it off, you can screen share it because it's like 30 seconds long.
Okay. So I may have to go to the actual. I can't pull the link off StreamYard. I may have to go to the actual YouTube chat.
Oh well, if that's the case, I can do it if you want me to.
Yeah, if you got the YouTube chat popped out, you
Yeah,
can go on and screen share it.
Hang on. Let me. This button. Okay, do that.
Did you share the audio?
Yeah, I'm turning it up. All right, ready?
I woke up every day in the Air Force thinking I've got the best job in the world. Airplanes, jets, propeller planes, rockets, spaceships, starships. If it left the surface of the Earth and went somewhere else on an adventure, it just captured my imagination. The opportunities that the Air Force can offer are boundless. When opportunity knocks at your door, be bold, be courageous in following that dream, step across that threshold and into that new adventure. My name is Colonel Alvin Drew, and I am an American airman.
Okay, that's what he put up. I don't know what it was meant to show, but
unless I'm missing something, to me it just showed the space program.
Yeah, it just showed an Air Force commercial. Was that it, Brian? Yeah, he goes, that's it. But it's... That ain't those starships, man. That was the damn space station and the shuttle taking off. I didn't get it.
Mora says we don't get it. She told us to read between the lines.
All right, I'll have to go back and watch it later and really, I guess.
He says it's what they say. Go share if you can. Share it again, Seth, and we'll listen to what he says.
All right. I'll do it again. I still got it up.
Apparently, I was watching the visual and wasn't listening to the audio. So this time, I'll only listen to the audio. I'm sorry, everybody. Apparently, everybody in the chat says we didn't listen, and it went over our heads because we just watched the pictures.
Well, Moira, listen, darling. I know you like me and all, but I am a simple man. I don't always read between the lines. Even though I know I should in some things.
Oh, hold on just a second, Seth, and I'll share that. Give me just a second. Entertain the people while I'm gone.
Okay. Entertain. Oh, that sucks. All right, everybody. Hang on, let me check this out real quick. We're ready? Angelus Draven, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. And everybody, I mentioned it before, if you're coming or going, do us all a favor. Hit one of them thumbs buttons, up or down, preferably up. Show your host. Don't forget to tip your bartender. Show your support. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this.
All right, sorry I'm back. Brian, Brian the Observer, I appreciate you being here, bro. I know this is a topic that's right up your alley. Hail, Angelus. I'm probably saying that wrong. Angelus Draven. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not.
Now, did you share that, Han, while you were away?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because I listened to it again. It's right in the very beginning.
Well, let's
very close.
Okay, well, I'm going to share it again because I didn't hear it. So I'll share it again, and you can play it.
Let me know when you're ready.
It's up.
All right. Listen real close.
I woke up every day in the Air Force thinking I've got the best job in the world. Airplanes, jets, propeller planes, rockets, spaceships, starships. If it left the surface of the Earth and went somewhere else on an adventure, it just captured my imagination. The opportunities that the Air Force can offer are boundless. When opportunity knocks at your door, be bold, be courageous in following that dream, step across that threshold and into that new adventure. My name is Colonel Alvin Drew, and I am an American airman.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see the forest for the trees last time. I was watching the visuals, so now I see what you're saying. That he casually mentions all that stuff like it's nothing. Oh yeah, spaceships, starships.
Yes, exactly. I just shut my eyes and listen. I'm like, well, hell yeah.
And that's a commercial they released to the public. So if that was him just running off at the mouth, you think they've been like, well, no, let's do another take where you just talk about like planes and the space shuttle. Why would they let him spout a bunch of shit off about starships? Okay, so I apologize more and Brian and everybody else. Yeah, I didn't see the forest for the trees. I didn't listen at the beginning. I was watching the visuals.
My hair may not be blonde, but I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. There we go. I'm an idiot. And sometimes, to be honest, and I've said this a lot of times, I watched Creepy Little Book for a long ass time, and I'm gonna be quite honest. I kind of drifted away a little bit because some of that shit I'm just too high for to understand. So I'm an idiot.
It is awful funny too. They came out with the Space Force.
Yes.
If all you have is a space shuttle that they retired, didn't they retire the space shuttle?
Yeah.
Don't we have to go to the International Space Station now, like on a Russian rocket, to get there?
Well, also, the Falcon 9 rocket or whatever Elon Musk is trying to send up. He got his own shit. They send the Falcon. I think it's the Falcon 9 rockets up on a regular basis. One just went up a few days ago.
Look, well, there goes the garage door opener again. Brrr. I'm going to mute for just a second because that's annoying.
We're doing it live, people. People come and go. It's all good. That's true, Canuck. That's very true. Only if I have to. Say all you want, Moira. It won't change my mind. Oh, come on, Will. Get along with the kitty.
I'm back from garage door opener purgatory. Canuck, Red Green. That's an awesome show. I hadn't seen Red Green in forever.
I've heard of it.
Oh, you need to go on YouTube and look up the Red Green show. It's some funny shit. It was from Canada. If I'm Rambling Canuck, wasn't Red Green from Canada? The show from Canada. It's like a comedy show, and Red Green is the main character.
Okay. I've never heard of it. So,
I want to say I used to see it on public television.
He said yes.
Yeah, it's called the Red Green Show.
Okay.
And it's fucking hilarious.
See, right there, ladies and gentlemen, that just goes to show you how much under a rock I am, because most of you know what the hell y'all are talking about. I don't.
I'm pretty sure I used to see it on public television. You know, like how public television would do, and I know Canada and England are two different things, but they would play the Red Green Show kind of like how they would play the Britcoms, the British comedies, like on the weekend. And I'm pretty sure public television here used to play the Red Green Show, and it was fucking hilarious.
Well,
it's like a comedy show, and Red Green is the main character.
Well, it's a good Gravedigger. It's a good thing I'm handsome because I'm damn sure not handy.
Oh yeah, that was a quote. That was a quote that Red Green used to say: "If you can't be handsome, at least be handy," or something like that.
See, I don't know that. To me, he's just typing shit in the chat.
Yeah,
I have no reference.
More that was a quote from the Red Green Show. He would say something like, "If you can't be handsome, you can at least be handy." Yeah, his catchphrase.
Letter Kenny. See, I've never heard of that shit either.
I think. Well, that's kind of the end of the article. I think we'll skip over the.
Yeah.
We just did the Paul McCartney thing, so I think we'll skip the Elvis, Jim Morrison, Tupac thing because I mean we kind of covered all that stuff.
Yeah, we got false flag theorists. False flag theorists see darker forces behind whatever sinister world events are taking place. They believe events such as gun massacres and terror attacks are staged to make it appear as if some other group designed and carried out the event, in effect, planting a false flag at the scene.
Which kind of goes along with our conversation about the World Trade Center. A lot of people think that was a false flag operation.
Mm-hmm.
Project Orion. Okay, we'll do it off the cuff. Let me look up Project Orion and see what Jesse's talking about, because I don't think I've heard of that one. But yeah, Sith, as soon as we get off here, you need to look up Red Green Show on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, I'll have to do it later because the moment we get done, I got to run. I got errands to run. Yeah. I mean, I have nothing better to do, but I've always got errands to run.
Are you talking about Project Orion nuclear propulsion, Jesse? Is that what you're talking about?
Whoops.
Or am I missing something? Do you have some conspiracy theories you'd like to talk about more? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, she's got a lot of them. She's very knowledgeable in that aspect.
I mean, we've come to the end of our list of what we had just to start the show off. I mean,
we still got one more, and I believe that most of the chat might agree. And at the top of the list, and that's the the assassination of Kennedy.
Oh yeah, the assassination of JFK. I'm sure the chat has many opinions on that, and I don't even have to look it up. I know paraphrasing it is conspiracy theorists think that it was more than one person. It wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. And it was a conspiracy purposely by the government or some entity to take Kennedy out. It wasn't just like a random thing.
Well, hey, it's up to you.
And Lee Harvey Oswald was basically the patsy, for the whole thing.
Yeah.
The assassination of the president, John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
No, Will was asking the assassination of who.
Oh yeah.
I know, Jesse, you said you were doing chores. If you want to link, if more you want to link, I know y'all are up on conspiracy theories, probably more than Sith and I are. If either of you want to link, let me know and I'll DM one to you. I know Jesse's really up on conspiracy theories too. Sorry, I need to calm my tits. If you want to link more, I'll send you a link. I mean, this is all about having fun. I'm not monetized anyway, so it's not like they can take my money away. And Jesse, I know you've been on Pete's a lot. I know you have a lot of different conspiracy theories and opinions on them. So if either of you want to come on and chime in, I'm more than happy to DM y'all links. And you can come join the shenanigans. Not to be confused with Mary shenanigans.
No more. I've heard some of your views and outlooks on stuff. This is just you alone. I know I've heard Jesse too, but more just you alone would be a good fit for the topic. And Jesse would be like icing on the cake, or vice versa. There's nothing you can say that. Well, yeah, there's a lot you could say to get the channel shut down, but I know you got a bit of restraint.
Yeah, all I ask is that you have at least a little bit of restraint, because I not that it's much, but I don't really want to lose my channel. Yeah. But I've been on chats with you, so I don't think you're going to get too out of line.
I like a feisty woman. I think it would be a good fit. Yeah, Brian, be nice. Gravedigger, be nice. Why in the hell would you want to mod a Wii?
You hadn't seen his series. He'd been doing a technology series like the last week, and he was showing some of his a lot of his video game systems, and he briefly touched on talking about modding Wii, so you can do different stuff with them.
Reindeer. Well, take your time, Moira. We're going to be here for a little bit.
Yeah, I shot you a link. I still have another Bloody Mary too. And Jesse, if you didn't hear me a minute ago, if you want a link, bro, to come on and talk about conspiracy theories, I know you have a lot more experience in this than Sith and I do.
And all the gamers you have in your house, Moira, you can't find a damn keyboard. There's something wrong about that. Unless they're console gamers, and that's a different story.
That's why you mod a Wii, Sith.
Merge emulator 20. Well, I know you can mod consoles to emulate. I thought he was talking about other things. Like why would he even mess with a Wii?
Okay, you're driving, Jesse. No worries.
Yeah, ain't no problem, man. It's just the offer was there.
This has been a pretty good topic, Sith.
Yeah,
I may come up with something good for next week.
Yeah.
This has probably been the most popular topic I've done so far.
Well,
as far as the chat
I kind of liked the people at Walmart, but it was hilarious because I've seen that shit in real life. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, the people at Walmart's hilarious. Just so you know, just in your honor, I didn't do the cock and ball garnish this time. I put the pickle above the olives.
Thank you.
Just because you said you didn't.
Oh, you put the pickle above the olives, so now it looks like a drooping nut sack. Okay.
I can't make you happy, man.
How about you just don't put the pickle on there?
How did you get the Frank above the beans? remember something about Mary? How did you get the Frank above the beans, or so? What was it? Something like that, or the bean above the Franks? I think is what they said.
Yeah. You can't say Franks and beans or pork and beans in front of Mary. She will lose her shit. That infamous giggle that most people love. It's just
the broken Mary giggle.
Yeah, it's awesome. I seen it live, ladies and gentlemen. It was beautiful.
Yeah, the beans above the Frank. That's right, because the Frank is normally above the beans. So yeah, it would be the beans above the Frank.
Twig and berries. The pixie giggle, exactly, Will, exactly. We got
or a todger, as Mandy calls it.
What was that?
You said what was that?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
It's my ice bucket.
No. I heard what. I've never heard the term todger. What?
It's Will could probably chime in on that.
Hey, gorgeous, what's going on?
It's a British slang for your wiener.
That,
or according to Pete Gilmore, a todger is a slang for a wiener.
I have not heard that one.
Yeah, me neither.
Will said he hadn't heard that term since he was in school. Yeah, a todger is like a British slang for a penis.
That's funny. They're sitting here talking about something about Mary. That's great. That's a good turn.
Yeah,
all right,
I mentioned.
What do y'all want to talk about first?
First of all, how are you, darling?
I am doing okay.
Good.
I think I had too much coffee.
You do sound a little wired up, a little bit. You're sitting.
You don't take this the wrong way, Moira. You always look lovely, but you look alive. You look like you just.
I wanted to at least look like I go out and have a life.
You look alive, man. You're like bouncing with energy, ready to knock some shit out. It's awesome. I love it. And that librarian look is killing me.
Oh yeah, the sexy librarian. Yeah.
It's a cold day in Oklahoma. You damn straight. I haven't gone to see it. I was looking at this chat. What Gravedigger said, and he
I know. I need to reiterate something.
Colder than the whale digger's ass out there.
Or a gravedigger's ass?
I was about to say that.
Colder than a gravedigger's ass?
Yeah.
I don't think he would allow me to check. I'd be like,
we love you, Brian. So what do you want to talk about, darling?
Hey, this is your show, Ace. I'm just here to throw the icing on the cake. So
yeah, it's a balmy 60 degrees outside.
Hail, Death by Saber. Good to see you.
Death by Saber.
How are you?
What's going on?
Well, you said you had a lot of conspiracy theories. So is there some that we hadn't touched on that you want to talk about or elaborate on?
Oh, I'm not really good at coming up with it. It's more like if you mention it, I'd be like, ooh, I think I know that reference, and throw some shit in there.
Well, you've had your own theories, this past almost a year that I've known you. So
I know that. Have you ever had so much shit to talk about you didn't know where to start?
Yes.
We'll start with the last one we talked about, JFK. What's your take on the JFK conspiracy?
Okay, first off, JFK was not killed by Lee Harvey Oswald because let me set this up for you kids. Fuck. Okay, let's get this shit out of the way. So you got the road right here because he turned down this way and came through this way. Over here you have the book depository building up here. And you have the overpass that's way over here. But we're going to make it tiny so everybody can see what the fuck's going on. So he's driving this way. If you notice in the video, he grabs his throat from the front as though he was shot from the front, which can't happen if you're shot from this angle. That doesn't fucking work. So Oswald couldn't have. Now, he may have been there and he was supposed to shoot Maybe he didn't, maybe he missed, but there's a good chance there was a second person there to make sure the job got done if he didn't do it. Because he was found in the book depository, but he was found in the cafeteria having something to drink. Now, personally, if I had shot somebody, I'd got the fuck out of that building. I would not be sitting there having a fucking coffee or something. And the way they caught him is because he didn't pay 25 cents for a movie theater ticket. You best believe I'd be on my best behavior and acting normal if I had just tried to kill somebody. So, yeah, they arrested him for not paying for a theater ticket and somehow connected him to the assassination. Are you fucking kidding?
I agree. He was totally a patsy for the whole thing. I mean, I don't see how anybody could not think he was a patsy for the whole thing. I mean,
and since most of the Bush family is totally evil, and I think Bush Sr. is like really up there with the CIA, it's entirely possible that asshole either did it or has something to do with it. That I can't prove that, but I can prove the fact that a bullet coming from this angle is not going to come in this angle. That just don't fucking happen.
Brian says, come on, they caught the Oklahoma City bomber because of a license plate.
I was going to bring that up. That is so true. That is. And what's interesting is that the ATM footage and whatever fucking surveillance that was across the street and such from the Murrah building, all that footage fucking disappeared. And what little footage you could see, because it was the early 90s and it was crap, it was fucking kind of grainy. You can't actually see a clear face of who it was that got in and out of the vehicle or whatever anyway. They just left it there. And so, yeah, that was awfully strange. And let me tell you something else about the Murrah building, since I actually live in Oklahoma and I was in 7th grade when this happened, is also that a story started coming out, and because it wasn't just like, I mean, the Murrah building had a lot of stuff in there, including a daycare, which most people didn't realize that was in there. So that was one of the things that really sealed his fate, was kids got killed.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what cause you do, if kids get killed, dude, you've already lost public opinion. You're not going to get your way out of that. But there were ATF agents that had an office in there, and they were paged. Yes, this was pager days. They were paged the night before not to come in that morning. So no ATF agents were killed. So why the fuck would they tell them not to show up unless they knew something was going to happen? Which means they sat there and let 168 people die. So they may not have done it, but they didn't stop it.
Which is similar to the 9/11 theory of the government may not have actually done it, but they knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it.
Absolutely, because we keep track, and nobody can act like this is a new thing, that we keep track of every single plane in our airspace. Because since the 70s and 80s, when there was a lot of hijackings, they made sure that was an absolute thing. So if you're running military drills, you should know exactly how many planes you have going, where they're going. They all have black boxes. They all have identification numbers. You should know where every single fucking one at every second is. There is no excuse for anything else. Pure and simple. We either are the best at what we do or we're not. It's one of the two. You can't have both.
She's on it.
Yeah, Rambling Canuck. I don't know that we follow each other. If you'll double check, I'm at HanstarYT on Twitter, and we'll get together and talk and see what kind of topics we could come up with. But yeah,
Peter agrees that Bush Sr. was CIA director. I knew he was up there. I just wasn't sure if he was like director or not. I didn't know that for sure, but I knew he was up there enough to know shit.
You know, and that's things I've thought about. You know, after 9/11 alone.
The fact that anything classified because of national security. What national security? Our national security was already breached, unless our national security is the threat.
Right. Exactly. Because don't get me wrong. I'm hardcore 100% red-blooded American, but it makes me thoroughly
only be patriotic to your country when it deserves it. I think that was said by Mark Twain, I think.
But the fact that if in fact it was a conspiracy and we were involved with it in any way, shape, or form, it sickens me that a lot, ladies and gentlemen, of good men and women lost their lives because of it.
I mean, the fact that tons of people decided to go sign up because they were, and I'm not blaming the soldiers, do not get me wrong. There's a difference between anti-government, anti-war, and being anti-military. Like, there's a difference, or anti-soldier. So let me explain that. I am very much against our government because our country is based on the blood of other people. I mean, not to say other countries aren't, but it started with genocide, and one way or another, we never really left it. We just changed directions in how we did it. So we sent our poor to die for a rich man's gain. And honestly, back a long time ago, after the Civil War and possibly near the First World War, there was actually a concept to put into act that anybody who voted for war had to go fight in it, and it got shot down. Imagine how better this world would be if the people who try to start wars had to go participate themselves, actually participate themselves.
I agree.
Everybody would set the fuck down and they'd mind their business real quick.
And that, to me, that's not conspiracy theory. You just have to look at it. Poor people go and fight for the rich people.
Okay, let me explain the concept of conspiracy. When people say conspiracy theory, it makes it sound crazy. Conspiracy, the concept of conspiracy is like two or more people coming together to plan something. That is the concept of conspiracy. Now, theory, of course, is theory. But the phrase conspiracy theory was coined by, I think, in the 50s or early 60s by the CIA to make people who thought outside the box or had, what if this happened instead, to look like crazy people. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some crazy people who do think outside the box, and sometimes they're right, sometimes it's just bonkers. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. But it does not make you a patriot to just sit there and glue your eyes to Fox News and believe whatever it fucking tells you. Because half the time, they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, and the label of anybody talking about UFOs is the same way. They use that to say you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, but UFO is simply an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
That could be a comet. It could be a piece of space debris.
It could be
a UFO.
It could be a plane you've never seen.
Exactly, and there's plenty of prototypes of that sort of shit. It doesn't mean you're out there, humping your sister in the woods with a beer and going, holy shit, I just saw an alien. No. But that doesn't mean that, we're always discovering, we've sometimes discovered animals on this planet we thought were extinct and weren't. We sometimes discover new bacteria that we never had any idea existed. There has been signs of life, like fossilized bits of life, like microbes and shit, on Mars. So to say that there's no life on any planet anywhere at all is completely arrogant. Now, I'm not saying they're little gray men. I'm not saying that. Life basically is anything that has a life form of some kind.
Right, and I mentioned that earlier on before you came in, and I had to quote a movie to say it, because if we are the only planet in this big vastness called space that has intelligent life on it.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's weird.
Isn't that a waste of space?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in charge of the design, so I'm not quite.
No.
I'm about to say it'd be awfully strange to say that there's only sharks and eels in the water and nothing else existed.
Oh no,
that would be so weird to say. So how can we say we're the only things that can
in the farthest deepest downs that we can't go are species we have never seen, probably never will, or heard of. So
there's still places in the ocean we haven't explored yet. They're constantly finding.
Some of it's because the atmospheres are so heavy they would crush any of those little toy submarines trying to. There are fucking fish with fucking lights hanging off their forehead. How fucking weird looking is that?
I'll just some random nonsense that doesn't matter, but they've been going deeper and deeper into the Marianas Trench? I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, that's about 5 miles deep or 4 miles deep.
With the new technology, they've been able to go deeper and deeper into the trench. And I saw a picture the other day.
Oh, I want to see that.
I saw a picture. No, it's when I say it, you won't want to see it because it's funny. But I saw a picture the other day that they found a can of Spam on the
probably crushed.
Not like, well, no, it wasn't like in the bottom. It was, how it's like a slope. It was on the slope, leading down deep into the Marianas Trench.
You go down far enough, and that can would be crushed.
Yeah, they found a can of Spam down there.
Damn.
Somebody's trying to fuck with people in the future that get the technology to go down there and be like, fucking spam.
Would y'all find out?
That's exactly right, Will. I've heard that quote before. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the ocean floor, because we're just now starting to get the technology to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the oceans, and they're constantly finding new creatures, new species of fish, or whatever you want to call them, that are living in the deep, deep depths of the ocean.
Because we can easily survive conditions that we've seen out in space, because there's zero gravity, zero air. We can manufacture air, we can manufacture food, and then you got propulsion. But the ocean, we haven't been able to conquer the pressure.
We cannot say the moon and space has zero gravity. We cannot, because when you look at the video of the moon landing, they're not just floating away; they're just slowly going up and slowly going down.
Yeah, the gravity.
So it's going to have a little bit of gravity. It can't be zero. It just went right off. They went.
Well, I'm not talking about on the surface. I'm talking about in the space in between. In space.
Okay, that's a tough one. I got nothing on that.
All right, but we have not yet found the proper technology to be able to
interrupt you just for a minute, Seth. I need to step away just for a second and use the facilities. So you and Maura, please behave yourselves while I'm gone.
Yeah, the observer does agree that there is some gravitational pull on the moon.
Right. But I'm just saying, just in between surviving that and the pressures of the deep ocean.
Will said that a can of Spam can survive anything.
Damn right.
Spam itself probably could, but the can would be crushed if it's deep enough. Like when they sent those tiny little submarine thingy, well, it's probably not this big. It's probably like more like this fucking big.
Yeah, ROV.
To the Titanic, they found a lot of things that had been just crushed flat.
Yeah.
What was left of it, because obviously, things get picked at and rot over time. And the only thing that survived were really well treated boots and leather. It was about the only, everything else, a lot of it was flattened and crushed because of the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Which was what I was getting at. But yeah, he's right. Spam would probably survive the nuclear holocaust. No shit.
But who would want to eat it?
Hey, if you're hungry, you'd be amazed the shit you'd eat.
I know.
One time they were out doing something, and he had to eat grubs. You'd be fucking amazed.
It
does not taste like chicken. He said it doesn't taste much like anything. It's certainly not good. Well, I'd be like, I'm gonna be better at fishing before that fucking happens. I'm gonna throw M80s in the water and scoop them fuckers up or something. I'm telling you what.
Yep.
Come get me for poaching. Shit.
Okay, I'm back.
I do not care. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Hold on.
You all didn't get too batshit crazy while I was gone, did you?
Not particularly. We were talking about Spam being crushed and me learning to throw M80s, and probably with a rock or something, so it gets really down in there and gets more fish. And that was how I learned to fish, because I'm not eating grubs.
Because we're talking about Spam. I'm like, man, who would eat it? Because the nuclear holocaust, who knows if that shit would be
we are aware of the wall of fire around the solar system. I was not aware of that, but I do have questions about the Van Allen radiation belt.
No clue.
Okay.
You're kidding, right?
I have one we can talk about.
Let's give Seth a minute to Google the Van Allen radiation belt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let's give him a second to Google that.
I actually like Spam.
Oh, Brian's giving the link. Well, that way everybody else can also go look.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We can't really be inclusive and including everybody if they don't see what the hell we're seeing too. So yeah.
I actually like Spam. I only eat it maybe once or twice a year.
Dude, there's only one way I'll eat Spam. It's the way my mom used to make it. She'd make a Spam salad sandwich, a little bit of mayo just to kind of bind everything together. Some boiled egg crushed up and little bits of Spam. Oh, that shit's so good.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh my God, I love that.
I like it sliced into slices and fried until it's almost burnt, and then eat it with fried eggs.
So fucking oily. Although I just get a paper towel and just be like.
Yeah, I fry it till it's really well done, and then make
it. It does bring out the salty flavor. I give it that.
Make fried eggs with it. And put like hot sauce on everything.
You really are Southern. Shit.
I am.
We like things spicy.
All right. Will says the Van Allen radiation belt is just around the Earth, and but that makes people wonder how in the world like spaceships get out past the Van Allen radiation belt in the first place. There's like question about that.
Well, if it was around the Earth, that would be would have been, unless they're trying to hide that too.
Well, see, that
one of the first things Voyager would have seen.
I've heard some silly ass theories, but I've got to admit, there's a couple of questions in those silly ass theories that made me go, It does make me actually wonder. Don't worry, I don't think the Earth is flat. And no offense to anyone who does. I'm just saying it looks weird that I look through this telescope and I can see everything else is round. Why would we be the only ones that look like a fucking frisbee? You know, it wouldn't make sense to me. Like we'd be the only ones. That's my whole thing. I honestly, I don't think my life would change any one way or the other. The Earth's still gonna be fucking here, whether it's flat or not. Shit's still gonna keep working the same way it does now.
Okay, I don't have the chat popped out, Sith. So Brian dropped a link, but
okay,
I can't.
I got it.
Will Jeffrey is singing Johnny Cash. Lions love spam. Oh, hold on. I got a message from. Got to send a RAR to that. Oh, sorry. Anyway, let's see. Brian is talking about interdimensional portals. Holy fuck, that might be out of my pay grade.
Yeah, no shit.
All right. Will Jeffrey says because of the speed they are going, that they can kind of get in and out of the radiation area without getting much scathing, basically. Radiation only hurts you if you stay in it for an extended period of time. Yeah, but we actually don't. I don't know if we know the intensity of the radiation, for one. Passing through it on the way to the moon, for example, it doesn't hurt the people who do it. The speed could have something to do with it, but I would imagine it would have some effect. And depending on the radiation, would it not, to some degree, kind of stick to the ship? Maybe? Like,
yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, that would be something I think we all should look up and maybe question. All right, let's see. At the outermost edges of our solar system lies a barrier of super hot plasma, a giant wall of fire from the sun that defines the edge of interstellar space. And while the space probe seems to be fine, the plasma shield could pose a problem to NASA if it moves toward as planned its planned interstellar mission. Sorry, it's really tiny, so I'm having a hard time seeing it.
Okay.
And I suck out loud, by the way.
I was yeah, it was good. I was gonna read it, but you beat me to it.
Oh.
And this was made the 21st of November of last year.
And Brian says the wall of plasma fire was discovered by Voyagers 1 and 2 is when it was first discovered.
That's what I was talking about. You know, if there was such a thing out there, Voyager. I knew Voyager 1 would have seen it.
You know? Chat, how are you? Hi,
Dirty.
What's up?
Hey, comic chat. Hey, Danny. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, Danny, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You'll meet me Sunday night.
Danny, aka Comic Chat, is going to be on Name That Tune this Sunday. As a matter of fact,
Dray Digger's day drinking, or is he watching you day drink? Just hang out watching her on day drink.
Yeah, he's watching me.
Yeah, I'm not drinking. I'm doing other things.
That's also fine. If I was
we don't discriminate against places
right now.
It's just, yeah, I would kill for a good Bloody Mary right now, but I don't have the stuff to do it, and I'm not going to get stuff to do it, so I'm going to go with what I got.
Man, this takes a lot of thinking, man. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was on my thing.
I have another one, a more modern one we can discuss that a lot of people think is a conspiracy. The disappearance of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370.
I've got to say I'm a little hazy on it. I know of it, but there wasn't much detail to work with. All right, for instance, the little beacon that goes off that lets you know where it is. I don't know, like if it went into the water. I don't know how deep the water would have to be before they couldn't read the beacon anymore. Like I have no info on that, so you would think point though to like as it's going down, like they would be able to at least track the last place properly, the last place. But you'd also have to look into current, how strong the current is, and see if it moved, how theoretically where it can move it from last you saw it.
Well, I just saw a story recently that they have a new area of the ocean to search, that they've done more calculations and they think they have a different area to search. But
fresher information would be more accurate information.
The problem was the beacon was turned off. So the only way they had,
whoa, that's against FAA regulation right there.
Well,
why would somebody do that?
Well, there's a way apparently to turn it off in the cockpit, but it would have to purposely.
I understand that, but why would you want to?
Well, that goes with
to be found.
That goes with the theory that the plane didn't. Well, one of the theories is the pilot or the co-pilot did it on purpose and committed suicide. They basically turned and flew out over the ocean until they ran out of fuel and crashed, and they turned the beacon off so they couldn't be actively tracked.
Well, couldn't they have had the common decency to kill themselves at home like most people fucking do? Jesus.
Well, I mean,
I'm depressed. Let me just take everybody with me, asshole.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
If they did it, I mean.
That's what I'm talking about. Buying dirty is there's a theory that the pilot did it on purpose, and he had a flight simulator at home, and I'm
not questioning he knew how to turn it off. My question is, why in the world would you do such a thing? Like,
so you couldn't be actively tracked.
Well, once you crash and you're dead, who cares if they find you or not?
But they would track you leading up to that and know that you had went off course. That's why you would turn it off.
Well, why would you? All right, if you're going to kill yourself anyway, why bother? Because if you go off course, they're either going to get some planes to surround you and force you down.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. Good to see you, Danny. Have a good time at work if you can have a good time at work. Good to see you, Danny. I'll talk to you soon, and I can't wait to have you on the show Sunday. Good to see you, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maura. I was just saying goodbye to Danny.
If they were playing, like, have some kind of weird suicide pact, there's not much, even if the beacon's on, they can really do to stop them. Like, they just straight nosedive that fucking shit. Like,
he didn't nosedive it, though. He flew until it ran out of fuel to get far away from everything.
Well, tomato. If you don't care about killing people on the plane, what do you care where you crash into?
Well, and part of the theory is that he purposely decompression the cabin that would basically knock all the lack of oxygen would basically knock all the passengers out, so they wouldn't realize what was going on.
Oh, that's courteous.
They would all be passed out, basically. And another theory is the co-pilot. They're like, well, what about the co-pilot? Well, another theory is he waited until the co-pilot left to go to the bathroom and then locked the co-pilot. All the doors on airplanes now are like super reinforced. So he locked the co-pilot out of the cabin, out of the cockpit, and then depressurized the cabin enough to make everybody pass out, basically, and then he went on about his business. But the pilot had his own flight simulator at home, and one of the saved flights that they saw on his flight simulator was basically exactly what the plane did, and it veered off course like the plane actually did, and it flew out over the open ocean until it ran out of fuel and crashed.
Are they absolutely sure it ran out of fuel? Like, I mean, is there any way that when he turned the beacon off, he went a completely different direction and gave the plane to somebody?
The thing about it is the beacon was turned off, but there's still another system on there that talks to satellites, kind of like GPS.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There had to be something to hide it.
Well,
like,
the only problem is
how far in the water does it work?
It was only one of those things where every now and then it talked to the satellite. They call it a handshake. Like every now and then it talks to the satellite. Oh, hey man. The satellite's like, oh, hey man. But it's not as accurate as like a beacon would be. So they generally have tracked the direction of the plane by that. And I can't remember the exact system that they're talking about.
It's taken what, 3 years to do this?
Yeah, and other than some wreckage, they know it crashed because they found wreckage of it with serial numbers and shit on it. Supposedly.
I didn't know they even found wreckage. I hadn't even heard that.
Yeah, they found some pieces of it that washed up on like the coast of Africa or somewhere. But the only reason they can generally track the way it went is because of the satellite thing the beacon was shut off. So there was another system on there that basically talked to satellites, kind of like GPS. So they can look and see where it was when it gave the so-called handshake back and forth to the satellite, but it's not as accurate as the beacon. It just gives them like basically a general location. And all they can go, and it only did it so often, like every so many minutes or hours or whatever. So
well, still, it's not. In a few years, you think they would have had it down a little better, but
it gave them a general area to look. But like you said, it could have went a long way from the last time it talked to the satellite. Yeah, he's talking about if the beacon wasn't shut off, they would not be allowed to veer that far off course because military would have interacted with them and been like, why the fuck are you going the opposite way you're supposed to be going?
Exactly. The closest military would have been like
that's why the beacon was shut off, is because they would obviously know you weren't going the way you were supposed to go, because he basically turned around and went the opposite way he was supposed to be going and just flew out over the open ocean.
And depending on where they were, where in the ocean, like what country, they would still have satellites that would still put out a signal and it'll bounce off their plane and still see it.
Well, he was outside of radar range. So the only since the beacon was turned off, the only information they have is the handshake between the plane and the satellite for the other system, but it only does it so often. So all they know is it give a handshake at such and such a time, and then it never gave a handshake again. But all that does is give them like a general area to start searching in.
That's wild.
It wasn't like an up to the minute thing, like a real time thing. It only talked to the satellite like every so many minutes or hours or whatever, just so often.
Well, he said it did it till it ran out of fuel. What if the plane hadn't been fueled up correctly? What if it had only thought it had been filled completely and it wasn't? Like someone could have ambushed that. Like most planes, as far as I know, if they get a quick once over, fueled up, make sure nothing's leaking, and then sent on its way again. What if someone only half fueled the plane, and they weren't supposed to, obviously, and let my girl. Hello there, you sexy
Mary.
Meow.
How are you feeling, Mary?
We're talking about wild conspiracy shit.
Mary's been like super sick.
Oh.
For like the last 4 or 5 days, she's been like in the bed, super sick.
Yeah, my daughter refuses to like lay down. She'll get up, she'll move around. She was like, "Why am I sweating? Why is it so hot last night?" I'm like, "I think your fever's breaking." She goes, "Well, it needs to hurry up."
I'm glad you're starting to feel better, Mary. I was really worried about you because you hadn't eaten like 4 days, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, no, no. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. Make yourself eat something. Ooh.
I think the problem was she couldn't keep anything down until like the 4th or 5th day. She finally started being able to keep like some super crackers down.
That's good, Mary. I'm glad you ate that.
Chicken broth with like soggy crackers. Fuck, I love that shit.
But like I said before, don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you might relapse.
Yeah, your tummy's a little sensitive still. Ooh. Hold on, I got some shit going on.
I know an even more modern conspiracy theory that I just saw an article about. I mean, within the last couple days, is they're saying that there's evidence that the coronavirus was actually created by the Chinese government and it was accidentally released.
I said that in my first stream. Hold on. Hello? I know my daughter's absence from school. It's called being sick, you fucking twist. Can anybody, a real person, actually call me from that place? Anyway. No. And when you call it, please call this number to explain. It's another fucking recording. Anyway.
Please explain. My kid wasn't at school. You already know that because you told me my kid wasn't at school. Goodbye.
Yeah, they send me a text and then they'll call, like, right after. It's like. Anyway, sorry. So, yeah, in my first stream about the coronavirus, there was the chat was lighting up with all kinds of theories. Wild stuff that even I wasn't dare saying. But can't be ruled out necessarily. But I even said that there was a chance that a scientist, because I saw the movie Outbreak. You remember that, where the guy got scratched and he's like freaked out and was trying to hide it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Chinese government is very strict. If someone drops the ball, oh, fuck, they're in trouble. So the person was probably terrified they might get in trouble. They wasn't even totally sure they actually got infected or anything. and went home and broke protocol. It's quite possible that it's just all started because someone dropped the ball. I mentioned that was a very valid possibility. Doesn't matter how strict the government is. People make mistakes.
I go
But
back.
the government trying to minimize it, lie about the numbers, and not doing protocols to protect other people, that is their fucking fault. For sure.
Well, that's just your basic. I mean, not to get into politics, but that's just the MO of your basic Chinese government. They're still
the MO of most governments, because almost everybody was dropping the ball left and right. People were still allowing planes to come in, and all they were doing is checking for a fever. Are you fucking kidding? All you gotta do is take an aspirin and you're good. Like, are you
and they originally thought that the virus only incubated for 14 days, and since then they figured out the virus incubates for like
anywhere from a week to 24 days.
Yeah.
And
so
my God, the amount of people that you could be around in 24 days, and then those people be around for 24 days. Because, like, I mean, if I was infected and I went to Walmart, just to, like, there's entirely possible I bump into somebody and they're infected, and then they're going to go home to their family, and then they're going to go to work and do whatever they do for the next 20 days. And oh, good God.
Yeah.
May I butt in real quick?
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen of the panel and of the chat, guess what?
You won the lottery.
Tommy is no longer to be able to go everywhere. He DM'd me just a couple minutes ago. He said, my internet's acting up. I was going to come to the stream because I love watching them. I'm like, it's all good, man. He's having internet issues. And I figured I'd just shout him out because, you know, Tommy's everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen. And now he finally can't be. We found somewhere that Tommy can't go.
Why? Why is it like this?
But yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out. He his internet's acting up, so he wanted to come by, and I figured, you know, everybody knows who he is. You know.
I appreciate the sentiment of Tommy wanting to come back because everybody always loves to see the guinea pig collective in the house.
Yes,
even though one day we will have to bow to our guinea pig masters.
The cat army has made a very friendly truce and allegiance with the guinea pig army. Meow.
I really am glad you're feeling better, Mary. I was really worried about you.
Yep. Even though I kind of coaxed her into coming and saying hi, but you know, I figured it. You know, if she started to be seen, she'll feel even better because I know she's worried about the algorithm. But it's all good, Mary. Ain't nobody
about the algorithm. Do we make the algorithm?
Yeah. You're not going to be forgotten. You know, if you
I guarantee you,
they'll come back. You know.
I guarantee you, me saying this stream is about conspiracy theories, I am not going to be on the algorithm at all. Not that my little channel is going to be on the algorithm anyway, but
why not? Put it in your tags: coronavirus, conspiracies, JFK.
Yeah, but YouTube.
That'll get some algorithm.
YouTube, yeah, the algorithm of YouTube blacklisting me because YouTube is not down with conspiracy theories at all. They've been demonetizing and busting all those channels for conspiracy theories and stuff.
That's weird because, see, that always makes me wonder because there was a saying once, and I can't remember who said it or quite the phrasing, but it was like, if you want to know who's in charge, look at who you can't talk about.
Yeah. I know it'll make you happy, Mary.
Because if I came up with a theory right now that when we're asleep, little Care Bears come to life and do stuff, nobody would demonetize me. Why? Because it's absolute silliness. So,
I
wonder if I come up with something that's possible. I love you too, honey. If I came up with something that was possible and they had a fit, then I'd be like,
I have something that'll make you smile, or I think it'll make you smile, Mary, that I can show you.
Full screen yourself to do it.
And no, it's not my genitals.
I was thinking about my cleavage, actually.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be second. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be later.
Really? You like yourself a lot, don't you?
Look, Mary.
It's so cute and fluffy. It's so fluffy.
Mogwai.
So cute. She's like gentle.
I got that at the mall the other day.
Yeah,
not the genitals, the Mogwai.
I totally love that.
Yeah, Han had to go buy him a new pair.
A different store for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're it's not called extensions, it's like Snap-on tools kind of thing.
Where'd you get that?
It was, I forget the name of it now. It was some store at the mall. I don't remember. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, they've been up on Creepy Little Book. Yeah, I bet they have, because they just don't. They give zero fucks on that channel. They'll say what they think, and I kind of like it.
Also, you weren't here earlier, Mary. I also have.
Prepare yourself for this, Mary. You may want to sit down.
I also have Gizmo in his little sports car that I got on sale. In his little sports car, like from the movie, where he's in that little radio-controlled car.
So cute.
It was actually a really good deal. I wish I had bought them all. I don't know if you heard that earlier, but it's a Hot Topic exclusive, and apparently they're discontinuing them because they marked them down. There was only 5 of them in the store, and they marked them down from $30 to $12.
Oh, Biden Dirty, it was Hot Topic.
Yeah, this came from Hot Topic. I don't remember where I got the other little Mogwai was from somewhere else.
Wouldn't be Spencer's, would it?
I missed.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Spencer's. It was a different store.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
They have a store there. I can't remember the name of it. It's basically like a pop culture kind of store that has like all kinds of pop culture shit, like anime and.
I wish I could fuck that shit, but I got to worry about changing the fluid in my transmission.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Because it's not tar material yet, which is really bad, but it's like a goldenish, like light brown. So it's at that point where it needs to be changed, but it's not like shit's not broke yet.
Well, it's at that point where the transmission fluid's on the borderline being burnt.
Yeah, and so I need to do something soon.
Yeah,
and it's like. It's 38 degrees right now.
It may have been Box Lunch Bad and Dirty, because we did go in a store named Box Lunch. That may be where I bought the little Gizmo at. That's not where I got the Gizmo in the car. Was it Popo Funk or whatever the fuck they're called? Pop Funk, whatever the hell they're called.
I'm sorry, Maura. It's a bomb.
Boss.
I'm sorry. It's a balmy 64 degrees here.
But yeah, the little Gizmo may have come from Box Lunch, because we went in Box Lunch and they have all that kind of stuff.
See, honestly, we don't have a Box Lunch around here. I've never heard of it.
It's like a general pop culture kind of store. They have like all kinds of pop culture stuff.
Probably somewhere I'd lose a lot of money in.
Yeah, they have like Star Wars stuff. I mean,
yeah, I'd have to live stream my PayPal link and be like, "You guys, I want half this shit, please." But I don't have room for it. I got a mess of a room as it is.
Yeah, you go on alert, darling Mary. I'm just glad you're feeling better. I'm glad to see you back on your YouTube feed anyway, and hear you say you've been able to start eating some stuff. I'm really happy to hear that. I was really worried about you. Yeah, Funko Pop. Thank you, Will.
Much love, darling. Get some work done if you can.
A little bit, or make her laugh. I gotta check and make sure the hall is clear. There you go, Mary. Just for you, Mary. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say I'm a collector, Biden. I've bought some that I like, just because I like the character. Like today, I actually have took it out of the box, so Funko Pop people would kick me in the nuts. But I got a TARDIS today just because I like Doctor Who. This come from Amazon today, a TARDIS to put on my desk. And yes, I took it out of the box, and I don't really care that I took it out of the box, because I'm not collecting it like to be a collectible.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not a Doctor Who person, but that looks cool as shit. I know where TARDIS is. And a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, and I may actually take Gizmo out of the box. The thing about Funko Pops is you can put them back in the box if for some reason you wanted to,
Well, your Gizmo, it'd be a good way to keep it dust free.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And besides, like, are you actually gonna put it on the floor and pretend to drive it around or anything?
No, it's just sitting on my shelf.
I think after I showed my cleavage, the chat stopped.
They're all in awe. they're all in all of your awesome boobage.
Someone thought about Nebula. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what Nebula is, but like this ain't. I have Nebula. I love her. So I'm assuming
Okay.
Character.
Marvel character.
Oh, okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the green chick.
Yeah, everybody's going back to nerdy stuff now.
Okay, her sister is part humanoid, part androidish because of what dude did to her, but her name's Nebula.
Right, eh?
And actually, the character herself, I think, is a rather sexy being.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Will said hashtag boobage.
Hashtag.
I was thinking it was like Bubage, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
No, hashtag Space Boobs 2020.
Everybody knows Gamora is the green one. We know that. It's her unpopular sister. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Have you seen Nebula without makeup? I have not.
Yes.
She's
a beautiful woman.
I do have a ticker for that, Seth.
Yep.
Space Boob.
20.
Yeah. Pirate Queen and Rocket Gal.
Nice. Oh my god.
2 Comicsgate projects that everybody needs to check out.
Oh, I thought that was like joking.
Yeah, the mailing list for both of them, bro. Generation Productions, what's going on, bro? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hey, Generation. What's up, man?
Generations, how are you?
Always good to see Generation. How you doing today, bro? You doing all right?
I gotta like heat up me coffee.
Okay. So, Will, what do you think of the newest Doctor, the female Doctor? I know that's been a topic of much discussion in the Doctor Who community. Of a lot of people hate her, a lot of people are all right with her. A lot of people say that her character's getting better. Are you talking about the woman that's on the stream with me, Generation? If you're talking about the female that's on the stream with us, it's more how you say her last name, Lazy.
L-E-I is Lee, so I would say Lacey. Hey, Han. Also, there was another part of that message from Tommy. He said he had a long talk with Stig, so he's now cool with promoting him.
Oh, okay. Hey, Brian, you want to drop Mora's link? If Generation's asking about Mora, no, she uses her name. She used her name before, so I don't think I'm really doxing her. Brian, if you want to drop the link for Mora's channel,
yeah, it's in her,
and or her Twitter.
Her Twitter is her name. So
yeah, I'm not really doxing her. She used until just recently, everything was in her name. So
good Lord, my poor daughter, she is having a tiny, cute little meltdown. Fortnite Season 2 came out, and I don't know this game very well, but it's something about a battle pass. And she's like, Mom, do you have $5? And I'm like, not handy.
Hey, Mora.
Yeah?
I'm going to put you full screen, and Generation Productions is not familiar with you. He said, who's the female? So would you like to introduce yourself and talk about...
Many times together.
Would you like to introduce yourself and talk about your channel or your Twitter?
Oh, God.
Generation Productions, she used to have red hair.
I had red hair. I had blue hair. I've had blue and pink hair. Purple hair. I think that covers it.
Well, I'm talking about from what I've seen. All I've seen majorly is the red.
No, I meant like this last year.
and I'm personally fond of the blonde right now, so.
Yeah.
More, do us a favor.
My little girl is having. She's like, Mom. Thank you, Gravedigger. You're such a sweetheart. He is a sweetheart.
Yeah, if you're not already Generation, you need to sub to Mora. She does some cool live streams and stuff too.
And I've been trying to work on the car and stuff. So like, there's like little car videos. I try to have a couple of jokes in every one of them, so it's not totally like shit.
Yeah.
I asked for people to pitch in so my daughter could get like her fucking battle pass, so I can have some peace and she can like keep her morale going since she's homesick from school. Like,
hey, Maura, do us a favor and pronounce your last name for us.
Lacey.
Okay. No, we was trying to figure out because of the way it's spelled and how it may be pronounced.
I know actually pronounce it as proper pronunciation because it was a German name, and then when it came over, it came slim one Americanized, and it sounds terrible, and so I just say it's Lacey, but it sounds way better because I hate the way it's actually pronounced.
Which is what, Lacey?
Yeah, that's a good one. We'll do that. At least he sounds
because
good.
Lei is Lee.
Yeah.
And they put the C on the end of it, Lacey.
In America. Yeah.
Well, before Maura got here, I already doxed myself anyway, and the Hans star of my name is my last name Hans. It's also German, and it was when they came to the New World, it was also shortened. In the old country, it was Hansicle, and then when they came to the U.S., they shortened it to Hans. It was, and you have to have the phlegm in your throat. It was Hansicle.
You're a fucking popsicle?
Will is never going to forget that I had a sleep stream.
Hell no. I watched it, some of it.
Like I said, Brian is throwing in some German. Wait. Oh, it was Junkst. I think, isn't that what he's saying in German?
I don't know German. I don't know.
I'm very bad with German. Ich bin der Jens. So I think it was Jens or something like that. Yanks or stuff. Well, that's what I think he's saying, that what his German name was before it was Americanized. I think. I am awful with German. Lord woman, your German is horrible. You know what? Well, your manners are horrible, so bite me. Damn it, I'm trying.
Damn, Brian.
I know, he's so brutal to me.
Wrong, Brian. Sorry. Observer. I'm sorry to call y'all by the last parts of your names. Yeah. Han is
booger.
Han is the star.
It said I am the youngest. Well, I have the I part right, or I thought it was.
Yeah. Han is a star. You guys, if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you very much.
I'm a something.
Hit that like button, subscribe, share.
Would anybody actually? I've told this story before in private. My last name's already been doxed. It doesn't matter. Would anybody like to know the story of how I got the name or come up with the name Honstar?
Sure. Why I try to figure out what the fuck Will is saying. We come.
Well, when I first
bitte, child is bitte? No, here. Bitte is here.
I don't know. I don't know in German.
I'm the best show here. Maybe is that what he's saying? Something like that.
My last name is German, but I'm actually Irish, Italian, German, and Cherokee Indian. Is my heritage.
Well, I figured theater was like show.
Yeah, excuse me. Will you come to the theater with me?
And bitte was with or here. I knew because when you say something like, come to bitte. It was like, come here. So
he says please. He said bitte is please.
No. Well, it's please. Oh. Fuck. How's German shit suck?
So I've already.
Brian. I need the other Brian, my trucker friend Brian. Because he's like, his German, he's derived from German too. And he'd have a better shot at this than I did. I suck at this.
Damn, should I just change my name to Brian so I can fit in?
Please no, there's too many. There's Brian with the I, Brian with the I, and Brian with the...
there's already two Brians here. We don't need another Brian. No offense, Brians.
Yeah, we don't need that many dang Brians. There's a lot. There's Brian's out the yin-yang.
But
Hi, my name is Will. This is my brother Brian. This is my other brother Brian. Yeah, get you into it.
Will Gentry said that was, can you please direct me to the theater, is what that meant.
Oh, fine, Gravedigger, your German's horrible.
Biden. I can be Brian Dirty.
That's awesome.
I want to say something, but I won't.
But I'll tell the story of my screen name. When I first started hanging on YouTube, I have two separate accounts. I have my Honstar account and I have my personal account, which is my name. When I started participating in Creepy Little Books chats all the time, I thought to myself, I don't want to use my actual name. I want to use like
my government name.
Yeah, I want to use like a screen name because unfortunately I work for a company that's very into tracking people down on social media and using that against you.
Creeper.
So the only social media I have now is under Honstar. I have Twitter and Instagram. I don't have Facebook anymore because they use that against you. So I call it, even though I know this isn't my job, but I joke and say this is my work side and the other side with my name is my personal side. So
my Facebook's pretty locked up except for like certain posts that I purposely make public.
So when I first started involving myself in chats, I was going by my actual name with a picture of myself. So, I mean, obviously you knew who I was. So I started thinking, well, I want to kind of use a screen name. I don't want everybody to know who the hell I am because I'm talking to all these random people on the internet. So I want to be somebody else. So it's actually, a lot of people think it's because I'm involved a lot with the Phantom Menace people. They think it's a Star Wars reference, like Han Solo and Star Wars put together.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it, actually.
You know OnStar that you can get in vehicles.
Oh yeah, that would be closer.
The joke. My last name is Hans, so the joke is when we go places, my wife is driving, I'm the navigator, and my wife is horrible at following directions. So I would say, take a right at this light, and she would say, this light right here, and I would say, yes, this light right here, and she would say, this light, and I would say, yes, this light, and she would almost pass it, and then I would flip out and be like, take a fucking left right here. Yes, this light. Take a fucking left right here. So the joke becomes, I don't have OnStar. I have Honstar, and Honstar is an asshole. So that's the name Honstar come from.
I don't know if it's a real thing or someone was saying it should be a thing, but like that little voice navigation, they said that someone should come up with the one for that angry British blonde cook guy. It says, you just missed your turn. You're a fucking disgrace.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay.
Yes. I think that would be hilarious. Take a left at this light. You idiot sandwich. I think that would be just hilarious.
Are you fucking kidding me? Take a left at the fucking light, donkey.
Most people in the Phantom Menace, if I tell them it's not Star Wars related, they get like super confused. Because they think it's Han Solo and Star Wars put together like in a really clever way.
Well, so the part because the name Han has existed long before.
They're talking about Star Wars, and I'm like, yeah, my name doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars. And they're like, what? It doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And that confuses the fuck out of them because they're like, no, it's Han Solo and Star Wars. And I'm like, no, it's not actually.
Oh, it's whatever you want it to be, sweetie. Okay.
Yeah. If that makes you sleep better at night, then yes, it's Han Solo and Star Wars. But I've told that story to several people. I don't know that I've ever told it on a live stream, but yeah, that's where my name came from. It's basically a joke between my wife and I. Is where my name came from. I was randomly thinking up a name to make another account.
Okay, that's how many account any person needs. It is not trolling, or is like adding fluff to people's channels, like giving them extra subs and likes and shit. There's really just. I kind of have two YouTube accounts, but one I'm locked out of because I lost the password and I have no way of getting in. But I can still see my videos. Thankfully, I was smart enough to leave my shit public, so I can still see videos with my daughter when she was like 4. But like, I can't get in there.
Oh shit!
I think it had a cooler name too. It was like OKC. The tattooed kitty or the OK tattooed kitty or some fucking shit. Like I have to go look. Hold on.
Well, yeah. Han's picture is a picture of his van. So yeah, there you go.
That's what really confuses people because they're like, your name's Han Star. That's Han Solo in Star Wars. Why is your avatar a fucking van? And I'm like, because that's my van.
Because that's the van I kidnap people like you in.
And they're like, that's your van. And I'm like, that is literally not a picture, but that's literally an icon of my van. And I'm actually going to, when the weather's nice, it's been shitty here and rainy, but when the weather's nice, I'm actually going to make a video that's titled, My Avatar is Real. And it's going to be me videoing my van and doing like a 360 around my van because the van in my avatar, I actually have that van. It's a 2010 Ford Transit Connect. It's black, just like my avatar. So I'm actually going to make a video of that when the sun is shining because it's been really nasty here lately.
Hey, pretty lady, does this rag smell like chloroform?
Biden. Wait, did Han Solo drive a van?
If he had been on like a regular planet, probably would have. But him and
his off-planet cousin drove a Winnebago.
You were talking about fucking, was it Spaceballs?
Yes,
yep.
Lone Star.
That's just kind of odd, really, because it's the Lone Star.
I still have my other YouTube account. What I do on my other YouTube account is I'm subscribed to channels that I want to watch as entertainment. So it's like I say, I have my business side and my personal side.
Okay, guys, y'all heard it right here first. He don't really care about watching any of y'all shit.
No, I mean I still watch everybody's stuff. I'm just saying I don't have the two accounts don't coexist because that would be too much chatter. So the channels I'm subscribed to on my personal channel are way different than the channels I'm sub to on my Han Star side. So,
I got the Tattoo Tabby.
A real cat?
What? No, I consider myself a tabby cat. Meow, meow. Anyway, but yeah, that's the channel I'm locked out of is the Tattoo Tabby.
Huh?
You can't do a password recovery?
I've tried. It's absolute shit. But it's got like my playlist, and yes, there's Madonna.
Yeah, but also for password recovery, you have to use the email address that the account is registered to. Now, if you're no longer active,
I don't remember what it is. Oh, I think I do, but I have no way into that one either.
See?
Oh, that's the problem. Yeah.
I'm kind of boned.
I'm locked out quite a few accounts like that.
Yeah, some videos from like 7 years ago and stuff. It's so cute though. Like
Big Steve back. Welcome back, Big Steve.
Oh, hey, Big Steve.
Good to see you, brother. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you. Always good to see you, man. Such a pleasant guy.
We've kind of went off on a tangent and have quit talking about conspiracy theories.
Most people tangent off into conspiracy theories. We tangent off out of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's all good.
The same thing happened last week. I started talking about 80s movies, and at some point we went on a tangent of talking about like a bunch of other shit, like modern Hollywood or something.
Oh, this is so cute. This is one of the first times I had a little one to paint her nails 7 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah. Super cute.
But she don't want to be present on YouTube now, though.
Well, she's gotten older since then. She doesn't want to be famous. She didn't want to be YouTube famous.
She wanted different colors.
That's cute.
She's going to go pick out another color.
Oh, she's really little in that video.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's a teenager now, right?
She'll be 13 at the end of May.
Yeah. So how old was she then? Like 7 or 8?
About 7 years or so. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, about
six or seven.
About 6, about 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed it. You missed it last week, Generation Productions. We started talking about 80s movies, and then we kind of went off on a tangent talking about modern Hollywood. But, yeah, we started talking about 80s movies last week.
Even modern Hollywood, even old Hollywood, scandalous motherfuckers. It was just it was kept more quiet, you know? It was a little more...
Hollywood has always had its own agenda. It's just there's so much more technology now, and you hear about things so much faster.
Now there's laws and stuff out now that they didn't have necessarily back then, and it at least helps a little bit because if you don't get caught, you can't get prosecuted. But at least yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting on when we tangent into strippers and cam girls like we usually do at some point.
Oh wow, really?
Oh my god, wouldn't it be funny if we like, you know what? Never mind. Let's say like do something wild, like dare somebody like people to like go try out at a club to try to become a stripper. Like y'all try out.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because there's only one male strip club in my area, and it's like a gay male strip club, and I don't really want that kind of attention.
The customers aren't supposed to touch you, so who cares? Their money spends as good as anybody's.
Hey there, Helen. Hey there, Helen Bond. I think I've seen you a couple times in the chat today. I don't recognize the name. I appreciate you stopping by.
If y'all want little interesting tidbits of information about Hollywood, I'm going to put a link in the chat. Y'all really need to check this channel out and just watch some of the videos. They're not really long.
We were originally talking about conspiracy theories, Generation Production. That's what we originally started talking about was conspiracy theories. And then Maura come on, and it become about boobage for some reason.
Well, yeah, that's because I was trying to show some love to Mary.
And we can see Maura's pussy in the background lounging.
Oh.
As soon as you moved, your pussy like spread out for everybody.
You do realize that my daughter can probably hear this down the hall.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about a cat, pussy cat.
I don't give a damn. We're talking about cleavage and you threw titties. I mean pussy into the mix, dude. No.
I'm talking about a cat.
I know. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. She's not someone we won't mention.
You can put the banner. See the kitty cat. What the hell?
I won't let you borrow my van, Brian, but I'll come and pick you up, and we can go on the road to 1 million. Okay, Brian said I went too far. I apologize, Maura.
This is sweet little pixie.
You know I love you, Maura. I'm sorry. Brian said I went too far.
Her, Brian.
I'm sorry. I'm going to do like a buddy I work with that talks about crazy shit, and then he says, if I offended you, I'm sorry. God bless. That's what he always does. He talks about crazy stuff, and then after the fact, when he's already offended people, he says, I apologize if I've offended you. God bless.
Yeah, he got that from Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, Brian the Gravedigger said use some damn headphones, Maura, so everybody can't hear what's going on. Well, I added the damn part. I'm sorry. He said use some headphones.
Well, no, that sounds about like him.
I
added the damn.
So, like, you catch him on the right days, and he is such a sweetheart.
Brian the Observer, the moral arbiter of us all. No, Brian the Observer just put me in my place and said I was out of line. I can.
You were a bit scandalous.
I can accept that, and I apologize to Maura because I was kind of out of line.
Now we can talk all kinds of shit because Maura can hear us up close and personal. Nah.
Yeah, I can right now. Holy shit!
Now it's like ASMR. Maura can hear us really close in her ears.
Oh yeah, I gotta drop the volume. Okay, there we go.
Now it's like we're whispering in her ears. Hey, Maura, how you doing, girl?
I feel like I should have a can of mace.
Please don't. That hurts really bad.
I could always use now, Lord, guys. I apologize, but this is just out of fun. I mean, nothing wrong by it. But a phrase me and a friend of mine used back in the day, and it's the same friend we were talking about the other night, Hannah Maura. We would walk around the mall. And sometimes he would walk up to a girl and go, "So, you want to fuck or what?" You know. He'd walk up and say some random shit like that. Yo, you want to fuck or what?
My question is, did that ever actually
No, it's
work?
supposed to be nice shoes. Wanna fuck? I got at least
He had a girl walk up to him one time, literally asked him what time it was, and he says, I'm sorry, sugar, I don't have a watch or nothing like that. And we started to walk off, and we started to make our lap back. I said, dude, you know what just happened? He goes, no, what? I said, you literally wouldn't give that girl the time of day.
Generation Productions.
There's a question, since we were originally talking about Generation Productions till we went way off on a tangent. Generation Productions has brought up a new conspiracy theory for us to discuss.
Actually, it's not new. Actually, there is a book called Chariot of the Gods, and they actually run the possibility that what we consider to be angels and beings from the sky are actually like Anunnaki or whatever, and that they did experiments to make us into what we are. And theoretically, it would be an interesting concept or something like that, because if it came from a certain breed of apes, something had to kickstart evolution. Something had to get thrown into the gene pool to make things happen. Usually things don't happen without a reason. God bless it, the phone keeps tipping over, so I'm trying to keep it as a way to read the chat. Anyway, but if you read Chariot of the Gods, it actually does run that possibility that we are basically a huge experiment, and we were created their theory is to like mine gold and stuff, although I don't see them coming and getting it necessarily, but whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I have heard that theory that either A, we're descendants of aliens that came to this planet a long time ago, or B, we were, as you say, genetically modified by the aliens for a certain purpose, and we
could be mixed with their DNA and apes.
Yeah, and that basically, for whatever reason, they basically cut and run.
Maybe not. Maybe they didn't cut and run, but there was a legend that saying that there was a couple of batches like that, and they were killed off because, for whatever reason, we didn't turn out the way they wanted or whatever. So they killed off a race of beings and then created new ones, trying to make it the way they wanted it. And possibility, like almost every religion talks about there having been a flood that wiped out most of humanity. And so, although I don't see how necessarily aliens or whatever could have necessarily made a flood happen. I mean, I don't really have anything on that. But race of giants, yes, it's possible that like race of giants could have been one of the experiments, and they were killed off because it wasn't quite what they wanted.
They have found giant skeletons. I know Pete has talked about what Brian's talking about. Pete on Creepy Little Book has talked about that before, of how they've actually found giant skeletons, and they found like super huge cranium giant people skeletons in the United States.
I actually can have a sound theory on that. There's a culture, and I can't remember which one. There is a culture of people, human people, not like humanoid, as far as I know of. And as soon as the child is born, they wrap scarves and stuff around their head to create.
Oh, you're talking about head binding.
Yes, to create that oblong shape.
Yeah, that was
that could be the culture practice back then. That could be what they're finding that caused the oblong head. That's possible. Now, a skull this big, got nothing on that one. There's no finding that's going to do that.
The thing about that, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. There's foot binding, there's head binding to make the skull grow bigger. But what Brian is talking about is...
I think they can't hear me.
No, we can hear you echoing because you have the audio play on your phone, I think.
I have it down. Turn it down.
Is that there you go. Yeah.
I can't believe y'all could hear that. That was almost on the lowest setting.
Okay, you said it's two different things. Okay, actually, giant skeleton.
Hey, Midnight's Edge, how are you? I never had this cool motherfucker on my channel.
Tom was here. Tom was here last week. Welcome back.
He doesn't come to my channel.
That's not. You're not cool as I am, Maura. I'm sorry.
Obviously, I'm fucking not. Damn.
Me and Tom were boys. We're karaoke boys. So Tom wants to come help me out.
Maura.
Tom's always lurking.
Moira, you're more special than you know, so don't get
Tom
your
is
not.
I am.
Tom is everywhere you want to be. Tom's everywhere you want to be. In some places you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Tom, you're kind of an audio guy. How do I sound, Tom? I upgraded my microphone to a Yeti. Do I sound better or sound any different?
The Observer says he doesn't come and hang with me either. Well, that's okay. You can always hang with me, Observer. Oh, and he does. He's a sweetie.
Yeah, me and Tom are karaoke.
Hey, Midnight's Edge, you want to hop on here and talk about possible alien shit?
Okay,
No. He. I don't believe he will because he'd have to be talking about himself.
I'm still getting the settings down because the Yeti has all these fucking knobs and shit. So,
dude, you sound great. Honestly, you sound great.
Yeah, you sound fine.
I'm trying to get everything dialed in. The gain was the thing I wasn't used to.
Tom's cat times people out without warning. Yeah, my cat gives me trouble too. Anyway, but
if you have any conspiracy theories you want to talk about, Tom, I'll shoot you a link.
Yeah, let's go for it. Wait, he said something because when I have my phone sideways, the chat disappears really quick. He said something about aliens.
He just said, "How do you know I'm not an alien?"
How do we know none of us don't have alien DNA? In fact, there's a couple of tribes their DNA was checked and it doesn't match any other human person on Earth. So what if they're the original, like descended from the original beings that lived on this Earth and we're not? I mean, think about it. Asia, Africa, shit tons of other countries, the native people are brown-eyed. But people like us, we have gray, green, blue. What if we're the anomaly? What if we're the descendant from the experiment? I mean, it's technically, not impossible. I mean, unless someone can prove me wrong. It's not impossible theory.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not educated enough to prove anybody wrong unless it has to do with Star Wars sometimes.
Oh, I'm not getting into that shit with you.
If you get done editing, Tom, and we're still on, just hit me up if you want a link. We're kind of loosely talking about bullshit and conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we have no idea where the hell we're going to be when you get back.
Yeah, so I've already been going for like 3 hours, and I'm like 3 Bloody Marys in, so there's no telling where the stream's going to go.
I'm like 4 coffees in, and I don't know what's going to happen.
So I quit drinking coffee.
Why?
I could use a cup right now.
It was suggested by my psychiatrist because I have severe anxiety. I'm on anxiety medication, and I drank a shit ton of coffee. So she said it was good.
I have anxiety too, and I take like 1 milligram Klonopin at night to help me rest. The rest of the day I'm fine. It seems like the bad stuff happens at night or comes at night. I know that sounds like I'm crazy, but like.
Oh no, I've had some of the best shit come at night for me.
Stories start at night, so nighttime I think has always been a scary time for people since the beginning of mankind. So I think it just fucks with people naturally. Ooh, hold on, I have a message.
Yeah, I take Klonopin.
I am live streaming on my friend Honstar's channel. It would have helped if it had put an A instead of a U on that. There we go. In case he wants to come visit. There we go. All right. Sorry.
We all know all of us on YouTube are kind of fucked up in our own way. Some of us just hide it better than others, just to be honest.
Right. Some of us just make an art form of it.
I haven't really hit it from most people. I have anxiety disorder. I'm bipolar. I take medication for all those things. So I take Paxil and a mood stabilizer for my bipolar. And then I also have sleep issues because, like you said, at night when your brain goes crazy, it's hard to go to sleep. So I take Klonopin for sleep.
Yeah.
So
my doctor's very stingy about meds because he wants people to try to find another way. And plus, I have depression and I don't take medication for that because the anxiety attacks were way worse. Like I can live, as long as I can live with it, I don't have to have the panic attacks. I can pretty much survive anything else.
Because
that shit was like an immediate threat constantly, and that's just way too much frazzle.
I basically dealt with it my whole life. I mean, hindsight being 2020, I dealt with it for my whole entire life. And then about 2 years ago, I started having panic attacks, and I thought I was going to die because I didn't know what a panic attack was.
I had a pretty good guess that was what was happening, but I thought some evil had come in the room. I mean, I was on edge, like I couldn't tell you. Whew.
That was what finally drove me to seek professional help, was the panic attacks, because at the time I didn't know what the fuck they were, and I went to the doctor and I'm like, I think I'm dying, because at night, like you said, at night when you lay down, that's when your brain goes crazy.
Yeah.
So at night I would have panic attacks.
Agreed.
And I thought I was having a heart attack. So I went to the doctor. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I think I'm having a fucking heart attack. And he asked me questions and stuff. And he's like, no, I think you had a panic attack. You need to, and he referred me, to a psychiatrist. And ever since then, I've been good, because I've got a good round of medication going on, and I see a psychiatrist.
I don't have insurance, so I didn't have money. Like I tried pricing out psychiatrists and stuff when this was happening, and I couldn't afford it. Like, it's insane. And so I know this is probably not a good thing to say on this channel, but I basically had to lie to tell the truth, because I found a doctor. Huh?
I've heard this story before. Yeah, I've heard you tell the story before.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't tell it. I'm just saying I've heard you tell the story before.
Well, when a person says that, usually it means they don't want to hear it again.
No, I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying don't feel bad telling the story, because I've heard you tell the story before.
Oh, okay.
It's what I meant. I'm saying you're not out of line telling the story, because I've heard you tell it before.
Oh, all right. Well, technically, it's kind of breaking the law, and I understand there's laws in place for certain reasons, but sometimes those laws fail people. And so I didn't have them. I did research on what medications did what I looked at support groups, like online, like what people were saying about their meds, and I realized that Klonopin seemed like the best pick for me. And so I basically, like, my doctor couldn't prescribe it to me if I've been prescribed it before, so I lied to him and told her that I had. So he wrote me the prescription, and it feels like it has saved my life, like, no shit. And like, I don't overtake it, I don't abuse it, I don't sell it. I mean, if people out there do that, that's their business. Adult folks, that's y'all's business. I'm not going to judge. People need to make ends meet. Economy sucks. I get it, but I personally, I'm glad to have them. I don't misuse them, none of that. So I do what I'm supposed to, but I basically had to lie to tell the truth to get the help needed, because I can't afford over $100 an hour, however many visits it takes before the doctor realizes I need help. And then it's a crapshoot on what he's going to prescribe me anyway, and whether or not it's going to work or not.
Right. And
I just, it felt like every time it happened, it was going to be the last one. And I couldn't live like that anymore. Because, I mean, every day, it's almost like that flight, or like Gravedigger had mentioned it. It's like a flight or fight feeling, but there's nothing to fight. There's nowhere to run from, because it's in you. And that's just, and of course, when it happens in the middle of the night, you don't want to wake anybody up and be a burden to them. You don't want to disturb anybody. You have to sit there quietly suffering.
You can't run from your mind.
Exactly.
There's no way to run from your mind. And I had the same problem. I would lay at bed at night and feel like I was dying, and my wife was asleep. So I didn't want to wake my wife up, because she had to sleep the next morning. In the meantime, I'm sitting there thinking,
I can make it strong if you need it. Somebody's asking if my coffee is strong. I said I can make it strong.
We'll hit generations real quick, and then we'll go into Rambling Canucks, because I actually just Googled what Rambling Canucks talking about. Generation Productions is wanting to know if we agree with the theory Hollywood is making bad reboots on purpose to crap on the good original and trying to say their version is better.
I don't think they're doing it for that reason. I think they're accommodating, and they think they can improve upon the original. Sometimes that can be done, sometimes not. In fact, a lot not. I think they're trying to show that it's a new generation, it's a new world out there, it's a new mindset, and they're going to cater to it, and it's not working out like they thought. They think they can improve upon the original. And remember the woman who was supposed to be cleaning that painting of Jesus and what happened to it when she fucked it up? That's basically what's happening. They think they can fix it, and they're actually making it worse.
So
I don't think anybody in their right mind would actually make a movie terribly on purpose. That's not a risky shot.
I think they're just lazy and can't come up with their own ideals, and they're thinking, well, this thing was really popular in the 80s, so I'll just make a remake of it.
Well, a lot of things are remakes. Like that movie 10 Things I Hate About You was an adaptation from Taming of the Shrew.
Well, to me, remakes should follow the exact storyline that was laid before them. In case in point, I'm gonna pull one example, which I think personally a remake would do it justice, just because of the computer technology we have today, and that is the Last Starfighter.
I was not a big fan of that movie anyway. It was okay. But
it was all right. Yeah, I see it.
I think we could improve upon it.
I'm just talking about with digital effects, you know.
As long as they don't mess it up and overdo it, then yeah. But.
No, start to finish, follow the exact same storyline, the exact script. But maybe in some slight places adjusted to make it a little better, but nothing out of the way. Just follow the fucking script,
fine tuning a little,
and use today's computer technology to make that movie look.
Well, that's the problem is they can't follow the script. They have to add their own spin to it.
Yeah,
they won't go and follow the exact same script. They would add their own spin to it. So,
that's the only way or reason I would ever 100% support a remake.
But you talk about that for a minute. Let me run real quick to the facilities, and then we'll talk about the Rambling Canucks.
Yeah.
Topic he brought up, because I just Googled it and it's really interesting to me. But I'll be right back. Please don't do anything horrible while I'm going.
No, I never would.
Crypto. No, I'm just kidding.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I was trying to hunt something wild.
Okay, I like wild.
You first.
I wear Boba Fett. That's about it. Woohoo. That's about it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Whatever.
I got Superman.
Yeah. Gravedigger. Titties and beer. Yeah. I ain't got no beer though. I got some Crown over there, but I ain't about to drink that shit. I ain't had nothing to eat.
I've never seen him on Crown. I don't know if that's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah, when it comes to alcohol, Crown Black. That's what I drink.
He says he'll start throwing dollar bills at me if you do. Should I drop my PayPal link?
Dollar bills, y'all. Speaking of PayPal, I need to go look at something real quick.
All right. Crown will put you down, right? I'd rather see him in a Crown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he does the music thing, yeah. Like, I'll go to the dollar store, I'll get him the Crown, and I'll spray paint it camo for him. I totally would. He would be so cute in that. But I'm trying to make it like a masculine crown, so it'd be like a king's crown, not like a queen one, a princess. We're not trying to emasculate the poor guy.
Sure, why not? That would be hilarious.
Let's change the subject just a little bit, because the Rambling Canuck. Well, you see, I've highlighted it on the screen, but the Rambling Canucks talking about a specific conspiracy theory apparently in Canada, and I had to Google it because I've never heard of this aircraft. But I'm really into military history and aircraft.
Never heard of this either.
So I Googled a little bit. So let's look at this. 55 years later, biggest question surrounding Avro Arrow remains: what if? And let me share the screen. The Avro Arrow was a airplane that was developed in Canada. So let me see. Yeah, there we go. That's a picture of the Avro Arrow.
Okay.
Let's see. On March 1958, the infamous Avro Arrow made its first test flight. The plane was the crown jewel of the Canadian aircraft manufacturer Avro Canada, better known as Avro. Then the third largest company in Canada, the hypersonic fighter was on the cutting edge of aerospace technology at the time. It could reach a speed nearly 3 times the speed of sound, traveling at an altitude of 60,000 feet.
That's Mach 3, yeah?
The first flight of the Arrow should have been a crowning moment for the Canadian aerospace industry, yet the plane was scrapped by the federal government just a few months later in a decision that remains controversial to this day. So if you scroll down a little bit, it talks about the fall of the Avro Arrow, and then it goes to...
Thank you, Will.
Let's see if I can find it. The fall. So why was the Avro Arrow canceled by the Canadian government in 1959?
I have a weird theory for that. Like
the official
maybe it was too good.
We'll put that in air quotes. The official reason given by the I'm probably butchering this. The Diefenbaker government at the time was that the Arrow was too expensive and it was no longer worth the money, Cohen said. Avro as a company was going through millions of taxpayer dollars. The government had an agenda to destroy it. They wanted the money for other things, so they came up with all kinds of reasons why they didn't need it. The reason
doesn't get into a whole lot of shit.
The reason for the cancellation of the Arrow was a mix of politics, timing, and bad luck. The CF-105, as the Arrow was officially known, was originally designed as a long-range interceptor meant to meet and destroy Soviet bombers. But on October 4th, 1957, the same day as the first Avro Arrow rode off the production line, the Soviets launched the satellite Sputnik, becoming the first nation to put a man-made object into orbit, and just like that, everything changed. It really was a case of the worst timing, Squire said. The same day as the Avro rolls out their aircraft, you had millions of people around the world looking up at the stars trying to look for Sputnik. The development changed the focus of militaries on both sides of the Cold War away from conventional bombers and towards atmospheric weapons like intercontinental ballistic missiles.
There you go. We knew you'd get it.
So it sounds like it was a political thing. Rambling Canuck, if you're still in the chat, you can chime in with your theories on it. To me, it sounds like it was a political thing. I could see what Morris saying, that somebody was like, "Wait a minute, that's too fucking good."
It seemed like, because I think our technology could be advanced so much if people, in power didn't try to hold it back and keep it secret. So by the time we get cool technology, higher up tier people had it for like 10 years. And plus, Canada doesn't really get into a whole lot of shit usually, so they probably didn't need. You're like, whoa, that's too much for us. We don't really need something that fucking fancy. Like, what are we gonna do with it? So I don't know. It's weird. Almost.
I mean, I knew nothing about it, so I googled. That was the article that came up.
I never heard of it.
If Rambling Canuck has more to add of the conspiracy of it, I mean, to me, it sounds like it was the government decided it cost too much and they didn't really need it, even though it sounds like it was.
The U.S. spends way more on its military budget than most leading countries combined. It's insane.
Oh yeah, the U.S. government spends more money on military than a lot of countries make total for their whole fucking annual income for the country. But yeah, Rambling Canuck, if you're still here and you want to chime in.
Big Steve says he cannot see me or Jesse.
That's weird.
I don't understand why that is.
Well, you haven't been in the chat lately, I don't think, but.
Well, no, but I mean, it's not like I blocked the guy or anything, but he can't see. I don't saying he can't see me on the panel.
No, if he can't see you in the chat, that just means your name has fallen off the participants list.
Yeah, I guess so, because I haven't wrote in there in a while.
Yeah, you haven't typed in the chat.
Jesse hadn't either because he was driving to pick his son up. Okay, so the Rambling Canuck says the conspiracy is that the USA pressured the government to shut it down because it was better than what the US had at the time, which is going along with.
I would believe it because America wants to be the hot king shit of everything and doesn't want anyone to ever be able to compete.
And just from reading the article, I could agree with you on that because it sounds like it was an awesome aircraft. And at the time, it would have been well above anything the U.S. had in their inventory.
Yeah, and so instead of like, hey, let's be friends and hey, let's share some of that technology, it's like, let me just beat you down and take it or stop you from doing it because I don't want you to be better than me. So like, why don't you just step up your game and do better?
In the 50s, the U.S. didn't have anything like that publicly anyway. They may have had stuff like that in development, but they didn't have anything publicly as good as that. So I could see that. I could
doesn't like getting shown up, even if they like complete after themselves in the process.
I could see the U.S. pressuring Canada to dump the project because it sounds like it was an awesome aircraft. Just from reading,
it looked good.
It sounds like it was a great piece of machinery. But
whoa! What year was that?
1954, I think.
What year was Chuck Yeager? What year did he break the sound barrier?
Let me look. That I don't remember. Let's see. He broke the sound barrier on October 14th, 1947, the Bell X-1 experimental aircraft.
It's possible that America was so fucking proud of that because breaking the sound barrier is going Mach 1. If this thing could go Mach 3, that would have left Chuck Yeager and America's, ooh, look what we did, so far in the fucking dust, they just wouldn't have it. And it's possible they were afraid that Canada might sell the technology to someone else, and America would be like,
yeah,
oh.
I mean, it was the Cold War, so who could Canada possibly sell it to? To
the highest bidder, whoever.
So I could totally see it as a jealousy thing, but yeah, I know you said it's a
because I mean, Chuck Yeager became an American hero. Everybody fucking loved him, and only a few years later, someone could do Mach 3. That would suddenly whoever did that person would be on the fucking map.
See, there you go. There's the crux of it right there. And what added fuel to the fire was, in this place, the Canadian Air Force ordered American surplus planes to fill the void left by the loss of the Arrow.
Oh yeah, so they made money on top of kicking them down and telling them they couldn't do it.
They squashed technology that was better.
Hey, give us money and we'll give you our table scraps.
Yeah. They squashed a product that was better than ours, and B, they made money off selling them our scraps.
And so I'm not sure the Canadian military it took forever to probably recover from that. Because, I mean, they made such an advance right there.
I do agree with Will. Even though I'm a proud American, I do agree that America probably has the biggest ego in the world ever. I mean, I'll sit here right now and say I'm a proud American, and
I'm proud of what America could be. I'm proud of some of the accomplishment America has done, but I am not proud of the shameful shit it has done, the imperialistic behavior that it is shown since its inception, and I'm not automatically patriotic. I am patriotic to the concept and the Constitution and what it's supposed to mean, not to the shit fucks that are in charge that don't follow it.
But I appreciate you bringing that up, Rambling Canuck, because I've never heard of that aircraft or that story. And like I said, I'm into like military history and history of stuff like that. So that's very interesting, something to look into. I'm sure it was kept quiet down here.
Rambling Canuck will come on.
Am I missing something?
No, I remember when he mentioned earlier about.
I mean, does the StreamYard chat not keeping up? Oh, okay. Yeah, see that
I'm
the
watching it on
StreamYard
YouTube
chat,
on my phone. So.
Yeah, the StreamYard chat is behind YouTube. So
that's why I was hurting and telling you.
Yeah, give me just a second, Rambling Canuck, and I'll throw you a link if you want to come on and talk about it, or talk about whatever. Because right now we're just kind of talking about whatever.
Fuzzy, are you all right?
All right, Canuck, I DM'd you a StreamYard link if you want to come on and talk about that story, or if you want to talk about something else, or just join in the conversation. I just sent you a link. Yeah, I agree, Will. You can be proud of your country, but not necessarily be proud of a lot of the stuff they did, because, I mean, obviously every country in the world has done things we're not proud of. But at the end of the day, I'm still proud of I'm trying to think how to word it.
Oh, geez, that fucking kid.
And
I swear to God, that girl has got to learn to do a laugh that doesn't sound like she's hysterically crying. I thought she found her pet dead or something. Fuck.
And we have a Canadian in the house. What's going on, man?
Not much. Not much.
What's up, Canuck? Good to talk to you again. How you doing?
Yes. sore, but I'm alive.
I think unless I have a horrible memory, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time I've ever actually talked to you on a stream. I think.
Yeah, I've talked to you through in the chat, but I've never been on stream with you yet.
I have a horrible memory, so I didn't want to hurt your feelings if you're like, yeah, we've talked like 5 times. But
no, don't worry about it.
Did you want to come and add to the story you sent, or do you just?
Basically, the Avro arrow up here, it's looked at because just the timing and everything, it put a foul taste in a lot of for Canadian military history anyway, because it was our crowning achievement. We had the fighter was the best that was in the air at the time, and then all of a sudden they just squashed it, and then lo and behold, about a year or two later, the Canadian Armed Forces end up buying a whole bunch of F-16s. I don't know where those could have come from, but we didn't need a plane, but we needed to buy some F-16s. I don't know.
and like I said, I've never heard of it before, so I appreciate you pointing it out to me because I'm into military stuff like that. But just from skimming the article and the bit I read, it sounds like at the time it was a game-changing aircraft.
Yeah, they only got 3 of them made, and then they were squashed. And then there's the, if you want to go really off the wall, I guess you could say whisper in the dark kind of crazy lunatic theory is that the Canadian government didn't actually stop it. They just said they did. Because one of the big things is up here in Canada, we have something called the Canadian Shield, which is up in northern Canada, and it's basically it's a mountain range, and it's just pure granite. And the one of the conspiracy theories is that we have air bases up there, and the joy of having air bases up there is if they're actually dug into the Canadian Shield, you can't penetrate that with radar. You can't penetrate that with satellite. You can't penetrate that with nothing, so you wouldn't know they were there.
So, Brian the Gravedigger is saying Avril arrow, is that the same as the April arrow?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know what the April arrow is. That was just
I don't either. So that's why I was saying I don't think so.
Well, let's see if he's willing to hop on here and.
Oh no, he said his French is rusty. I think he was trying to translate it like it was a French word.
Oh yeah.
Arrow.
No, it's
more like derived from arrow, like aerodynamic.
And Avril come from the name of the company, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Avril. Oh, I'm seeing.
Yeah, Avril arrow.
Oh. Avril could just be your name. It could just be the last name of the person who did it.
Yeah, it was the company's name, and it was supposed to be the premier jet, and I think they had hoped to be able to sell it down south and be able to lead the way in jet fighter, and because for years after the stuff that was coming out in fighter jets, the Avro Arrow already had. So
yeah, and that honestly that doesn't surprise me because we're not gonna let somebody else sell us something like that. We want to make our own because we're awesome.
And actually, some of the tech was sold south, and it ended up on some of the American stuff. So yeah.
Okay, Brian the Observer, I appreciate you coming by, bro. Enjoy your meal, and I'll see you soon. I'll be back next Thursday, same time. Come back in and join us and have a conversation, whatever it is we end up talking about. But yeah, good to see you as always, Brian. Have a good one, bro.
Take care of yourself.
And speaking of topics, because you brought it up, because you had said something before I came on. One of these we should do about either World War II or World War I and the politics around it, because I'm a World War nut. I've watched more documentaries on those two wars than I ever want to think about.
I would call myself a history buff. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an expert like you.
I'm not an expert, but I'm a nut.
But
and I look at also like I look at both the popular and the unpopular opinions.
That would be something that you were talking about wanting to come on the show again. Maybe next week, if you're available, we could do a stream talking about like World War II or the world wars in general.
Yeah.
Because I'm super into military history and World War II, and I've watched a lot of documentaries about all that stuff. So I don't know if I'm quite up on it as you are, but if that's something that you would be interested in, we could make that a topic for next week.
Yeah.
And, you could come on as a guest next week, and we could talk about either world wars in general or World War II or World War One, specifically, whichever you would prefer.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating topic, and you can ramble for hours because there's so many different points of view, and as long as you stay away from certain buzzwords, then it's okay.
Yeah, you have to stay away. Yeah, you have to stay away from certain YouTube naughty buzzwords like the H word and the N word.
Why in the world would anybody use the N word?
No, we're talking about World War II buzzwords.
Oh, like Gestapo-y people.
Yeah. People in black uniforms.
You use the N-word. I thought shit myself.
People in black uniforms.
Sith Lord said, "Check your DMs, Mora Kitty." But yeah, I would totally be down for that. If you want to come on next week on the show and be my guest, and we can talk about World War II or both of them in general, whatever you would prefer.
Yeah, it saves me from studying.
I would totally be down for that because I love military history. My wife hates it because I've watched like all the documentaries about like Nazi mega weapons and all this stuff that's on Netflix and all these different, World War II in color and all these things, so
I've watched every one of those too. So
my wife hates it. So
sorry. My mic for that. Sorry.
Yeah, some of the really trippy ones are like the bell and the.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, that's getting in the weeds, but yeah.
The bell could be almost a whole show by itself.
yeah, that's getting in the weeds, but yeah.
If you're down, I'll definitely pencil it in for next Thursday.
Definitely.
And, it's 1 p.m. Eastern is when I start, and you can come on. We can talk about world wars in general or specific things. We can talk about the bell. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. D-Day, whatever. And we'll do a whole conversation about that because, like you said, I mean, just talking about several things that technology they came up with in World War II on the German side, that could almost fill a 4-hour show by itself.
Dude.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's to link that to this, I mean, there's Operation Paperclip.
Oh, my God. Oh. Don't get me started on
we can go another 6 hours just
IBM,
on that.
Merrick, the Zircon fucking gas. Oh, my God. Do not get me started. You ain't ready. Oh, my Lord mercy. Sorry.
I mean, NASA.
Anyway.
I'm waiting for more to say, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus."
Thank you, sweet 8-pound, 5-ounce baby Jesus.
No, Moira's waiting for Yosef to show up in chat.
Oh, where's that little German dude? Where's that little German dude at? Somebody get him.
I'm sorry, Moira, I had to.
Will's like,
that's just a generalization to make again about the arrogance of the United States and how sneaky and dirty they can be. If you
want to come back from Operation Paperclip, let's jump back. America and Britain were all over the concept of eugenics and treating people like cattle and the whole whatnot, which, don't get me wrong, technically it does work. It just seems really crude to do. But actually the Nazis were inspired by the Americans and some of their eugenics concepts and some of Darwin's ideas and this and that. They just took it to an extra fucked level. And then we gave them immunity for the fucked up shit they did.
You didn't let me finish my train of thought. I wasn't talking about eugenics. But that was a part of it then. No, I was talking about Operation Paperclip of the way that the Americans basically stole all the scientists that were basically war criminals.
Yeah,
and
and
brought
that's
them
some of the stuff they did.
and brought them to the United States to further our own, space program, ballistic missile program, and they basically put these criminals up because they wanted the knowledge they had.
Operation Paperclip was not just about aerospace type shit.
No. There was over 1,000 people moved over.
Yeah, a lot of it was like some of our leading pharmaceutical companies, and let's not forget about IBM, made their fucking name in history from the camps.
Well, actually, some of the antibiotics that we enjoy today
came from a women's. Yeah, some of that
come from the roots of that same mess.
There was a camp for females where a lot of the antibiotics was actually founded by experimenting on the women, and it was something like, it's not necessarily Raven's Claw, that's Harry Potter, but similar. The name is similar to Raven's Claw. Is the name of the female camp where a lot of the antibiotics and those kind of medicines were tested on the women.
Brian the Gravedigger, I appreciate you coming by, bro. You have a good evening.
Aww.
Yeah, Gravedigger.
Well, I miss you. Mwah.
Take care, bro.
Lots of hugs.
Don't everybody speak at once.
Oh, okay, fine. And so, yeah, following the war, a lot of the experiments we started doing on people and the advances were done basically on the blood and the backs of concentration camp victims. If anybody wants to look up Henrietta Lacks, she was an African American woman whose cells were stolen basically without family's permission, and they did good advances with it to help people, but they did it without permission and figured they could just get away with doing it because she was a woman of color. If anybody wants to Google Henrietta Lacks, Laccs, I think, by all means, give that a gander real quick.
But yeah, it's crazy, some of the stuff that we would say, if you hear it, go, that's a conspiracy theory, and you go, no, it actually happened.
Yeah, there's a difference between reality and a conspiracy theory.
Well, a lot of it starts out as a conspiracy theory until it's found to be true.
Yes.
And questioning things outside the box is how we start to find these things. Tell me out.
That's okay. In kind of a tie into my other topic I brought up, which was the Olympic and the Titanic. Here's a sobering thought for you. The Titanic 2 is, cross fingers, knock on wood, and pray a whole bunch, supposed to set sail in 2022.
Yeah, I saw that. They're making like an exact replica of the Titanic as a cruise ship.
They better have a fuckload of lifeboats.
And they're gonna have it the Blue Star Line instead of the White Star Line because they can't get the trademark. And the kicker is, guess where the ship's being built?
Belfast.
China.
We're all gonna die. I'm kidding.
So does anybody want a ticket on that first maiden voyage?
I will do it. PayPal me, I'll do it.
Because they're advertising that they're going to take the exact route. I don't know if I want them to be taking the exact route.
No,
that last
one
led to the bottom of the ocean is all I'm saying.
Make sure there's enough lifeboats.
That iceberg long since melted.
No, another one's taking its place, I'm sure.
In the same exact spot.
No, but hey, maybe. Those fuckers like to kind of hide under the water.
If they take the same exact route, at least they'll know when to turn now.
Oh, Lord.
Too soon?
Hey, maybe they could put Leonardo DiCaprio on it. And he can actually sink. I mean...
oh, wow.
Too soon?
Oh. Nice. That's all. Because they're so freaking nice, eh?
Yeah, that's
awesome.
a myth.
I know we've had this discussion. I think it's hilarious.
Sorry, I'm catching up on my notifications while all of y'all talk.
Oh man, them things don't count. Notifications already happened. You missed it. Just like me, I always just miss it. Yeah.
But no, seriously, Sith, you have to check out the Red Green Show because it is funny.
Oh yeah,
it is like
it's
comedy
like,
101.
it's like Canadian rednecks.
Yeah,
That sounds like
basically.
Letterkenny.
And
Basically,
I want to say it was shown here on public television.
It was, and the Comedy Network.
Okay, yeah, because I used to watch Red Green all the time. It was hilarious.
Is it Red Green TV?
It's the Red Green Show is the name of it. The Red Green.
Yeah.
Well, no, I looked up Red Green Show and it shows up Red Green TV.
No, you want the Red Green
I
Show.
see it. Okay, I see it. Yeah, the Red Green Show.
I'm sure there's a bunch of episodes of it on YouTube.
Basically, his life motto is everything can be fixed with duct tape, and if it can't be, use more duct tape.
Generation.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah. Generation Productions. I'm glad you stopped by, man. Always good to see you. Stay well, my friend. And I'll see you next time.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what's going on my phone, but I cannot get YouTube to come back up.
Here you go. Big love to Generation Productions. He's always a supporter of everybody in the community. Big love to Generation.
Y'all are just buffering on my phone right now.
Really?
It's all good.
I must have said the wrong damn thing.
Are you sure it's just your phone?
That's always possible, sure.
Close out YouTube completely?
Ah, fuck me.
No, I'm married.
Wasn't invites ready.
Boom, boom.
Super night.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Right?
Let's see how terrible I look on camera today.
Oh my god, you're actually kind of cute.
And young.
Well,
yeah, I'm only 35.
Get a little closer.
No, you're only 25.
You're 35.
Zoom in on it. No,
holy crap, he looks like a Canadian Eric Stoltz, kind of.
Han, zero in on him. Let's take a look at the Rambling Canuck. Or Canuck.
You have a hockey jersey on, don't you?
Nope, football.
Oh, okay.
It looks like the Ferrari emblem. Or Mustang,
no,
I'm sorry.
Calgary Stampeders, CFL.
All right, I can get the chat, but I can't get, like, the show.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing on my side. Apparently, YouTube has decided not to let us play anymore because now it's showing me we have 0 viewers and it's spinning on my side too.
Oh, if we have 0 viewers, it means it cut the stream.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Oh, I know that was my fault, and I am so sorry.
Damn you, Maura.
Oh, I ran my mouth and I shut it down.
Now I know. Now I know what Will Jeffrey's talking about. He said, "Now we've crashed."
Flip over.
Anyway, so yeah, 0 in on the Canadian again.
Yeah, it says. Here, I'll. Where are we here? Here, I'll share my screen. I'll show you. I'll share my screen and you can see what it shows online.
Yeah, because I
have the YouTube still open.
Yeah, when I was doing the live stream for the Second Amendment protest going on in Virginia, they cut me. I had to start back. Oh, yeah. All right, here's what to do. All right, what I did is I messaged them and I complained carefully, sort of, and they put it back on. I mean, the stream's already ended, so you'll have to start it again, but you'll get your footage back. I
broadcast, and then we can.
If anybody can shut. I'm sorry. My bad.
Damn you, Maura.
Hey, but the shit I was saying was true, though. I told